All right, that was fun. Let's go. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, this is the day. Thursday.
I'm a loner,
Donnie. I'm a rebel, Donnie. Can you believe it? I'm a rebel, Donnie. I'm just a rebel, Donnie. Everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Jack Morgan. I'm so glad that you're here. Pour yourself a cup of coffee, would you? It's time. Morgan, that's me. New dog. Can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog? I want to pet that dog. Good morning. Coffee in your cup. This is it. Bop. Ear. All right. Hey, everybody, welcome. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Jack Morgan. I'm an independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate, and boy, are my arms tired. Hey, little anarchists, all you little rebels, all you little revolutionaries. How you doing, rebels and revolutionaries? Hope you're having a beautiful day. It's Thursday, August 27th. It's August. It's not October. It's still got a little while before October. I'm supposed to go to New York in October. I don't know how I'm going to afford it. Oh, man, I was supposed to go to New York. See my friends doing a festival, a theater festival out there, and I have never gone. He's my college friend, and I never been to. I have visited him a couple times in New York. He's never visited me. No, yes, he has. He hasn't visited me in Albuquerque. It's a beautiful day in Albuquerque. You like that? You like the little gong action? It's kind of fun, right? All right, listen. Donald Trump's ruining America. It's rad. We all get to take a front. I'm relishing it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to take lemons and turn them into lemonade. Like, at least it'll be a good show, right? It'll be fun. It'll be fun to watch as the United States crumbles. I hope I'm going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You're going to be all right. Get to know your neighbors. Make sure everyone's okay. Hang out with your family. Make sure everything's all right. You know, we can do this. We can do this. It's 4:40. Oh my God, it's so late. All right. Well, listen. We don't need to belabor this. We don't need to belabor this. I'm going to a book club tonight. We're gonna read Whale Fall. It's on that shelf behind me. I gotta go grab it. I'm gonna go to a book club. I wanted to do an open mic today. I was really looking forward to it. Then I realized, ding dang do. I missed a week because of my injury, and I was all off on my dates. So now I am, it's book club night, and I read the book, so I have to miss, open mic. So I guess I'm just going to book club tonight. We're going to talk about book stuff. A lot of MAGAs leaving the cult in my feed. I know. Are you watching them? Are they? What are they saying? And they saying, I didn't know it was gonna be like this. I thought that he was not gonna start any wars. You could, when they do that, you could be like, well, Jack Morgan called it from the beginning. During the election, during the campaign, I said he was a warmonger. During the campaign, I told everybody this is not going to work out. He's going to make it worse. And yet nobody listened to me. A ding-dang-do. A ding-dang-do. Oh, no. We have community. That's the answer. That's the only answer, Melissa Sweetser. That's all we got. That's all we got, baby doll.
Your thoughts on both that settlement and how it fits with this wider revolt?
Yeah, I think this is a very complex phenomenon we're seeing, this very real tech backlash. And it's very different than, say, like the Tea Party backlash of 15 years ago.
So is AI drowning the GOP? I mean, it's funny how much AI the GOP uses. How much AI does Donald Trump use? I mean, he's got AI pictures of himself as Jesus Christ, curing Jeffrey Epstein. He's got AI images, videos of him, I don't know, putting out fires as as a Donald Trump cowboy man. He has AI videos that he uses of the Obama's faces superimposed on the bodies of baboons.
Where there was an actual funder, the Koch brothers, and there was an actual reason for the racial.
Yeah, you hit him in the money. It's always that, right? Like, conservatives never care about whether or not people have rights, or because all they care about is white power, right? But as soon as they realize that white power is what causes economic despair, then all of a sudden they're going, oh, ding dang do, I didn't know it was gonna be like this. Yeah, every time you do this, every time you guys get in power, you end up doing more racist shit, and that hurts everybody, and then all of a sudden you don't have any money, and you're like, oh, it turns out that the people who buy all my stuff are minorities. Oh, Target's figuring it out. They don't like the fact that black people don't shop at Target anymore. Still whining about Trump. Oh, Glenn Sharp, we got ourselves a MAGA in here. No MAGAs allowed, Glenn Sharp. Oh no. You guys, you're still you look at this guy holding water. Glenn baby doll. You're just a simp for your favorite politician. It's weird, man. Stop holding what the fact that you're just going to bat for a politician. That politician wouldn't piss down your throat if your heart was on fire, buddy. That politician wouldn't piss on you, man. And you're sitting there begging and pleading and crying about it. It's creepy.
Backlash, which was the election of the first African-American president. Both of those things were inciting elements, and both of those things came together and created that movement. This is very different. This is genuinely grassroots. This has come from the bottom up. This is the American people saying enough is enough. And why are they doing this? I would say that there are two reasons. One is a growing sense of unhappiness with Donald Trump and the tech billionaire buddies around him. The
people don't like the fact that he's hanging out with the tech billionaire buddies, and those tech billionaire buddies are the same people that are buying and selling children. It's weird that Donald Trump always hangs out with the best. I have the best friends. They're the best people. All I know are the best people. Howard Lutnick, Jeffrey Epstein, Puff Daddy, all great people, great friends. I love Jeffrey Epstein and P. Diddy, best friends.
Other is a general unhappiness with the state of American society in the age of social media and smartphones.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. And you use that example. The tech might be different, but you use the example to point out that it took this many years to catch up to something that parents in states red, blue, and in between appear to agree on, which is letting an unaccountable company call the shots with very powerful tools that hook their kids is no good. But it took this long to get here. And you're saying there is almost a learn our lesson, enlightened public kind of mood of, wait, we're not going to wait 10 years and be on the back end of fighting AI.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen what social media has done to our kids. We have seen the increased rates of depression, the increased rates in some cases of teen suicide, all as a result of social media becoming much more prevalent in the life of American children. And we've seen what it has done to American.
The thing is about this operates under the false premise that anybody in the MAGA-verse thinks that children are worth anything. They hate children. If you can't get an ROI on your kid, then that kid ain't worth nothing. They don't care that oligarchs are taking over and killing their kids, that their kids are committed suicide. They don't care. MAGA doesn't care about kids. MAGA hates kids. Like that's one thing that is abundantly clear. MAGA hates kids. This idea that they're really against the oligarchs all of a sudden because the oligarchs are causing kids to commit suicide. No. If the Donald Trump crowd, if they can't sell a child or abuse a child, let's just say. If you can't abuse or sell a child, then they're not worth anything. They're either cannon fodder, they can clean up slaughterhouses, they can be bought and sold on the open market to billionaires. Those are the options. They don't want your kids to be healthy and happy. Think about what they're doing. Think how many kids are getting measles these days. They don't give a shit about kids. They were not even willing to have a conversation about kids. They literally destroyed the Department of Education. They gave the Department of Education to the WWE wife, the first lady of the WWE. Yeah, they care about kids.
How do you feel about this trade war right now?
It's terrible. We got to defend Canada.
buy Canadian products, support our people here.
Man, Canada, I guarantee if you go to the streets of America and you ask the same question, how do you feel about this trade war? We don't understand it. We don't know why Donald Trump is picking on our neighbors.
We're friends with the other country, but I don't know about the prime minister, the president there, causing problems, right? So support Canada. Work hard. We don't country of peace, sovereignty. But, what's going on here is ridiculous.
Well, I think it's important, but I do believe that...
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous, says the Canadians. This trade war is ridiculous. They love Americans, they say. They keep on... You know what's funny about Canadians? They're so friendly. They're like, you know what? I got American friends. I love Americans. But I hate Donald Trump, and this trade war is ridiculous.
Canada is finally maybe starting to step up and saying, no, we're not going to take it. So if we start fighting back with maybe the electric and that type of stuff, I think it might be good for Canada and Ontario especially.
It's illogical, essentially something that didn't need to happen. And it's really hard to understand how the Trump administration is moving forward in this way, seemingly completely against their own interests. And so it's difficult to understand.
I'm fully behind what Carney's done. Fuck the U.S.
Jesus, this Canadians. Oh, did I just say a potty word? Oh my goodness gracious, Canadians.
The U.S.
I don't know. I'm just so fed up with it. It's so childish. I wish, it's a joke. It's tongue in cheek, but it's unfortunately the way a lot of Canadians feel. It's stupid. It's laughable, but it should be taken way more seriously than it is by their leadership. But I think Americans are starting to come around, and so I am seeing some positives already.
How is it going to impact your life?
Oh, everything's going to go up, We work hard every day. Everything's going to go up. The price is going to go up. Cost of living, everything. Gas, you name it. I got a family.
I want to get that vegan teacher on here. She's Canadian. I wonder how she feels about the trade war. She texted me yesterday just to remind me to take my B12. And I was like, I ain't taking it. You can't tell me what to do, lady.
You got young kids, you got a wife, everything. It's terrible. How are we gonna survive if everything goes up?
I won't go visit my sisters that live in the United States because I'm boycotting traveling to the United States.
Damn.
Where are we going to get our aluminum from? If aluminum starts going up, I might be out of a job for a while. And what do I think of that? I don't like it at all.
You don't like it. Plus, Axl Rose is American. He's got Guns N' Roses t-shirt on.
What am I going to do? Where am I going to make money? Right? I've been doing it for 40 years.
Where I work, it's going to kind of hurt my business because I do defense for the Army.
Who do you blame for this?
Who do I blame for it? You got people in politics that are narrow-minded and just have their own agenda. That's what I think.
Can you name names?
No. Won't do that, but, we need
Canadians. Won't do that. Won't name names. Can't do it.
people that support each other, support Canadians.
Who do you blame for this trade war?
100% Trump.
Yeah, it's Trump for everything, man. The guy's just trying to destroy everything. But at the same time, it's, at the end of the day, again, everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah.
Right? People are going to say, no, it's not him, it's Carney. People are going to say, no, it's not Carney, it's Trump. So it's all on your personal preference, but who started it?
Yeah.
That's what the question. Who started it?
It seems to come from, directly and solely from the Trump administration. And when Trump's gone, I wonder if the movement in the U.S. towards having a more isolationist policies and a more aggressive trade policy against all countries, not only Canada, will be ingrained and continue.
Depends on who takes their place. I mean, will America continue this isolationist bullshit, this age of empires, mercantilist approach to the world? Will America continue to think of the world in terms of winners and losers, as if that's the only way human beings can exist? Will America continue to think that our nation state is better than your nation state and you deserve to die because you weren't born on our side of the border? Will America continue to put brown people into concentration camps? Tune in next time at the same the same Trump station, same Trump time, same Trump station. Find out.
Who do you blame for this trade war?
Trump. He wants everything. He wants everything. Wants to fight this guy, wants to fight this guy, and now he's fighting his neighbors? That's like going to your neighbor and saying, here, I'm taking your beer. I'm going to Jays game. Bye. It's all crazy. I don't believe it. I think Trump should just give it up. He's getting old.
You gotta love the Canadians. They're so quaint, aren't they? God damn it, I love them. It's always funny when I hear there's this guy named Vegan Gaines who always he'd like to talk. I always think it's funny when Canadians talk real tough, Oh, I don't know. You want to start something about it? You want to do something about it? Canadians, man, you guys got your own thing. You're very nice people. You don't know what it's like being American. We're down here crawling. We're down here squirming like worms under the boot heels of the Gestapo. You guys are like, I don't know what all these Americans are talking about.
And senile. I just can't stand the guy.
President Trump has threatened to rename Lake Ontario Lake America. What do you make of that?
Absolutely not. They tried to do it with the Gulf of Mexico, and I understand in the States it might say Gulf of America, but we're Lake Ontario, not Lake of America.
How about you? What do you make of this threat to rename this lake?
I'd like him to come here personally and try to say it instead of doing it behind a TV screen. That's all I got to say to it.
Come on, Canadians. That's how tough that is basically a Molotov cocktail in Canada. I'd like you to come here and say that in person to me rather than say it on the other side of the TV there.
Don't be making threats of trying to change a name that's been there for many, many years, before his time even. Don't be coming and trying to do that, especially in a country that's not yours.
So I think there's also talk about renaming Lake Michigan Lake Epstein.
Oh, I said that yesterday. They must have been watching the show yesterday. Yeah, we're gonna call Lake Michigan Lake Epstein. I love it. Good job, Canada.
That's insane. That'll never happen. That'll never happen. I don't see that catching on.
What does it say that he's making this threat?
It's like he's just delusional. He's just delusional.
I think he should jump in it. Put himself right to the bottom where he belongs. Can't just turn around and take something from Canada. Canada's been Lake Ontario since I was a kid. I'm 62 years old. Who does he think he is? I don't know.
I wonder when they called it. When did they start calling it? When did Lake Ontario start getting called Lake Ontario? What year? Come on, give me a year. 1640s. This guy's. It's been like that since I was a kid. It's been like that since 1640. I mean, think about it. 1640. Shakespeare had just died. Shakespeare had just died. It was already called Lake Ontario.
Go down.
Vice President Vance, in a speech, I believe it was either yesterday or 2 days ago, said he called Canada a state, and then he said it was a Freudian slip. What do you make of that?
I don't think it was a slip at all. I think he felt that way. And I believe that was a little hit and a dig on us. I do believe that.
Probably what the teleprompter said, and Trump was writing it out, or maybe his editors.
So. He's writing it out. He can't read now, can he? He can't read very good now, can he? Goody. He doesn't know what the Freudian slip is, eh? God, I love Canada. I love Canadians, man. They're so friendly and nice. Maybe they should put him at the bottom of the lake. Why don't ya? Maybe we should put him at the bottom of the lake, eh? We should call the Lake Michigan Lake Epstein, eh? I think it's great. Trump is getting crazy. Trump, his mental faculties are degrading. The man is so... Look, my father has dementia. When I visit him at the memory ward at the home, the people around him talk just like Donald Trump. Not everybody. There's people with dementia that are kind of like Biden, that are like, listen, and another thing. That's one, and that's two. And listen, Mac, the phonograph. Like, there's guys that talk like that, and there's guys that talk like Donald Trump. Dementia wears a lot of masks, and if anybody's ever been in a memory ward of a dementia, of an old person's home, they know Donald Trump has dementia. Joe Biden had one, and they just had a dementia, and so Donald Trump just decided. We just had another patient. The White House is basically an old folks' home now. That's all it is, an old folks' home. Shane Lewis says, like the video, everybody. Make sure you hit that like button. Shane Lewis really wants everyone to know. Projection? How is that projection? Biden had dementia. Donald Trump has dementia. Maybe Americans will pull their heads out of their asses and stop electing 80-year-old diaper-wearing creeps. Maybe that'll be the future. Maybe America will finally, since now we'll have a full 12 years of dementia patients in the White House, maybe we'll finally pull our heads out of our asses and stop voting for ancient men. You weird-ass Americans. What is wrong with you people? Why do you keep voting for these old men? Why? What benefit could it possibly serve to have an 80-year-old in office? I don't know if you heard, but Tim Curry died last night. Tim Curry, guess how old he was? 80. Dolly Parton died a couple days ago. Guess how old she was? 80. These people are knocking on death's door. Who is it? The Grim Reaper! The Grim Reaper! That's who's at the door. That's who's at the door.
Soros-backed Philly DA Larry Krasner telling a crowd, quote, in about 10 to 15 years, we are all going to be sitting here with smiles on our faces, and I'm going to have a paperweight sitting on my desk. And do you know what that paperweight's going to be? It's going to be a piece of the ballroom after we blow it up.
Oh.
Maybe if you're still alive in that city, who knows? But Trump's Attorney General Todd Blanche is blowing him up.
What is that a threat? Is that a threat, Gutfeld? Did you say maybe if you're still alive? Is that a threat? How dare you? Take him off the air. Somebody call Brendan Carr over at the FCC. Take him off the air. He joked about a government person dying.
The ballroom is being built, and it's disgusting that a district attorney in Philadelphia, who, by the way, has a city with its own problems, talk about, quote, blowing it up, is reflective of how divisive and unfortunate the Democrats have made this issue. But yes, we're going to continue to build the.
Really, do we need to change the poll? I don't know. What's wrong with the poll? You don't like the poll? Let's see. The poll says, "Do you feel better about America than you did 2 years ago?" 66% of people say no. Yeah, come on. You feel better about it. Even Trump supporters don't feel better. Those weird cultists, they don't feel better about America. Donald Trump still calls America a shithole. Donald Trump every day is like, the White House is such a piece of trash, garbage place. I had to build it up. Donald Trump has no missiles left to throw at Iran. That's how embarrassed we are. It only took a few months to embarrass a superpower this time. Remember the good old days? It used to take 20 years to embarrass a superpower. These days, just a few months. Donald Trump's at the helm. We're out of missiles. Our aircraft carrier has people shitting themselves, clawing out their own eyeballs. It's like the USS Abraham Lincoln is like the Event Horizon ship now. You ever seen the movie Event Horizon, where the ship goes to hell and comes back and they're like speaking Latin backwards and pulling out their eyeballs? That's basically where we are now as a culture. That's what America is. Way to go.
And with just 69 days until the midterms, Krasner
69, dude.
isn't the only Democrat letting his anti-Trump freak flag fly. Check out this little rascal.
The revolution was like a civil war. Half the people were saying, you can't beat the greatest military empire that ever existed. You can't overthrow kings and queens and lords and nobles. People have always lived under somebody like King George or Vladimir Putin or Donald Trump. That's the fate of humanity, to live under psychotic dictators.
You know, Kennedy, Krasner is notoriously easy on violent felons in his own city. Is this kind of a tell that he actually doesn't mind violence, that he romances it like a lot of left?
Yeah, totally. That's what it means. Left wings, they romance violence. That's why Donald Trump's the one saying, we're going to bomb them to kingdom come. We're going to bomb them to the Stone Ages. We're going to kill every man, woman, and child, bomb their bridges, poison their water supplies. We're going to kill all of their children and eat them. It's going to be like dead. Or how about when he said that about the Venezuelan civilians on boats? They're going to be like dead. Yeah, it's the left wing. It's the leftists who want violence. Totally. Those blue-haired, limp-wristed liberals, those are the ones that want violence. Totally. I love how they've changed it all, right? Somehow violence is a blue-haired, limp-wristed trans person's thing. That's funny. It's funny how that's happened. Yeah. I mean, I hate liberals as much as the next guy because of their pacifism. But, you know, the fact that Donald Trump has convinced so many morons to believe that the liberals are the ones arming themselves. Every time I go to a gun show, I always see a bunch of blue-haired, limp-wristed people there. That's the thing. It's a bunch of pansies at the gun show. Every time I go, it's just a bunch of pansies, bunch of liberals every time. I mean, I buy a lot of guns. I go to a lot of gun shows. And when I go, I just see a bunch of liberals. Don't you? Stupid libs buying a bunch of guns. I couldn't believe it. Can't believe all I see is a bunch of libs there. Trump is starving 90 million people. Well, I mean, he's also killing children in Africa. Donald Trump has killed more children than the bubonic plague at this point. Trump doesn't know what he's doing. No, he doesn't. It's been fun. Weird cultist, you're lying to your followers. Love you. I love you for not knowing how to spell your. Thank you. And should be banned from the internet. You're a weird cultist if you think someone should be banned from the internet because they're criticizing the president. You are a cultist. You're anti-American. You're anti-Constitution. Thank you. Gun shows no violence. Oh, wait. So who has all the guns then? Wait. So who's buying the gun? How do you get to do the violence if you're not going to gun shows? I go to gun shows. I like guns. I go to the gun shop. I go to the shooting range. I don't know. I'm a responsible gun owner. I'm ready for the revolution, son.
Kathy Hochul getting sued by over a dozen New York sheriffs over her new statewide ban for law enforcement working with ICE authorities. But the governor says, bring it on.
We will not sit idly by when ICE commits atrocities on our streets. We will not allow local cops to be diverted as ICE agents to conduct civil immigration enforcement. And to those suing us, those trying to block the implementation of this law, tried before and failed. Our law has been already upheld by courts. But if you're trying it again,
We are Charlie Kirk. You know, I learned how to play that song on guitar now. We are Charlie Kirk. You think a blue hair killed Charlie Kirk? He was raised in a MAGA family with a MAGA grandma and a MAGA mom and a MAGA dad and a MAGA brother and sister. Went to gun shows as a magtard. And you're like, and he went to MAGA universities and he went to MAGA churches. And you're like, Tyler Robinson is a liberal. What the hell? The kid's raised in your churches, goes to your schools, lives in your red states, and you're like, liberal though. He must be a liberal. Yeah, okay.
I say bring it on.
And Hochul isn't the only blue state Dem taking aim at ICE. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu going to war with the agency over parking. Mayor Wu blocking ICE agents from using state-owned parking and urging private lot owners not even to lease them spaces.
I love that. Hey, that's sounds like the Third Amendment right there. I think that works with the Third Amendment. I don't want to rent you space in my parking lot, ICE agent. That's my right as an American citizen under the Third Amendment of the Constitution. Thank you so much. Kindly piss off now, Mr. Agent. Kindly piss off, murderous thug, jackbooted thug. Kindly piss off, murderous Gestapo, slave patrol, patty roller, please.
These girls, honestly. Jesse, I feel like they are hiding behind President Trump's success at the border.
These girls, honestly.
The chaos of the 4 years during Biden was so outrageous. You saw it every day. And then in the first week, President Trump seals the border and that ends. So now they don't have to deal with that chaos. Remember how their cities, what was happening in all these cities, and now they can just play to their Democratic base and say that it's not a problem.
Yeah, and they need the illegals. They need them to have babies so they have a new generation of voters. They need them to...
Yeah, that's right. They're playing the long game. Those Democrats are playing the long game. They're criminal masterminds. Their whole plan is to let immigrants in so that they have babies, and then miraculously 20 years later will vote Democrat. Think of how stupid you sound, Maggers. Think how stupid you sound. 20 years ago, do you know what the Republican Party looked like? It looked like John McCain. It looked like Mitt Romney. 20 years ago, you think it's the same Republican Party that it's been taken over by the Nazis. Nobody knows what will happen in America in 20 years. That's such a ridiculous idea that you know what those Democrats are doing? They're letting brown people in because they know brown people will vote for them in 20 years if they have babies. What? So what you're saying is they're opening the border so that people will come over here, fall in love, conceive children. Those children will survive, and 20 years later we'll have Democrats. What the fuck? It's so stupid. Like, how stupid could you possibly? They believe this shit.
have the nonprofits profit from them. They need them for cheap illegal.
You think that Trump could play the long game? No, I don't think Trump can play the long game. I don't think Trump planned on being president. Trump is a con man who's interested in power and cash grabs. He stumbled into this because I don't think he actually, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, So he pretended like he wanted to be president for a few days, and then you idiots voted for him because you're a bunch of morons. So now he's president, and now he basically has to stay president, or else he'll spend his last years in jail. So now he has to do that. He's got to do that. Soros-backed Philadelphia DA Larry Krasner threatens to blow up White House ballroom. Cry more. Cry more. Oh, my God.
Labor, so the donors get rich. They need them for the census to boost their House seats. We've already spelled it out. They're willing to let the criminals stay. It's a small price to pay for all of the political benefits that they get. But Trump is—
Oh, man, thank you. I am a punk. You know what? I know I wear the tie and stuff, trying to look kind of like I'm trying to pretend like I'm sort of professional. But you're right. I am totally punk rock. And punk rock, at the very base of it, is an anti-racist, anti-fascist, pro-anarchy movement where personal autonomy and self-determination is the name of the game. That's punk rock. Thank you very much for noticing, Robbie Thedford. Thank you so much, Robbie Thedford. You're right on the money. Right on the money. You make me sick, punk. Thank you very much. Get off my lawn. You make me sick, punk.
is crushing it. We got 150 miles of border wall built, second term already 500 in the first. Self-deportations sky high, 50,000 ICE busts a month and going up. And legal
self-deportations are sky high, and yet deportations are still lower than Barack Obama's. And Barack Obama didn't have to execute anybody in the street. It's incredible that Barack Obama was able to deport more people with his concentration camps, killing fewer detainees and killing exactly 0 citizens. Remarkable. How did Barack Obama get so much done? How was he able to do all of these wonderful things in your estimation? I mean, I don't think they're wonderful things. I don't like Barack Obama, but you must love him. You MAGAs must love Barack Obama. You guys are always talking about all the great things he did. And every time someone criticizes Donald Trump, you're like, well, Barack Obama did it. You guys must love Barack Obama. You must love him.
Immigration is actually going down about 130,000 per month. So right now, next president, if the border is open at all, everybody will know it is a choice that the politician has made.
What do you think about Hochul's? Okay, I'm going to bring it on. Imagine a hospital that will no longer call the CDC when they get a bunch of local patients with Ebola or monkeypox come in. Oh, no, we just do neighborhood medicine. Or maybe there's a high-speed chase that starts on Main Street and ends up on the interstate, and the local city traffic cops say, you know, we're not going to tip off the state troopers or highway patrol because that's not our jurisdiction.
Yeah, dumbass, that type of thing happens all the time. But honestly, ICE agents are going in and brutalizing citizens in order to catch random immigrants because you've demonized them. They're not even catching illegal immigrants. Half of the people right now that Jesse Waters talked about, half the people, actually it's closer to like 70%, are nonviolent, have never committed a crime, are here legally. The only difference now they're overnight illegals because what Donald Trump does, he cancels their visas or he cancels their asylums or he cancels their court appearance document dates. I mean, and if you cancel someone's court date and they're all of a sudden illegal today and 10 minutes ago they were legal, and then you send someone in their house to kill their dog and their kids and then arrest them, well, yeah, people are against that, rightly so. Again, Barack Obama didn't have to do any of these things, and he did everything you wanted to do. He put lots of brown people in cages. He put lots of kids in cages. Barack Obama did all those things without having to kill citizens.
The formal ban on local federal cooperation just completely violates the core principles of national security. You need communication, you need information sharing and mutual assistance because
I see a lot of people at Kick and Twitch. If you're over on Kick and Twitch, please come on over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, do your boy a solid. If you feel like a political orphan or you just think that the American empire is coming to a close and Donald Trump is another nail in our coffin. And if you're already on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. You know, that's just being a good netizen, you know?
crime and terrorists, they don't respect jurisdictional lines. Why are we doing that? Obviously, there's going to be an overlap between illegals and crime with gangs. She's banning cooperation, and the message is...
Obviously, there's an overlap between illegals and crimes with gangs. What makes that obvious, Greg? What makes that obvious? Last time I checked, Donald Trump is involved in a lot of gangs. He is involved with the cartels. He's in cahoots with the cartels. He pardoned Orlando Ortiz, the former president of Honduras, after what did Ortiz say? He said that we are shoving cocaine into the noses of America. Yeah, you pardon that guy. Not a good look. And meanwhile, you're best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, who has clear ties to cartels, especially at the Zorro Ranch, and the bodies being found of young girls in the deserts of Chihuahua and El Paso. But, you know, forget all that. Forget all that. There's clear overlap between billionaires and gangs. The cartels and the gangs and the billionaires and the CIA, that's who's working together. The CIA, the billionaires, the United States government, and the cartels, they're working together. The poor immigrant swimming across a river in order to have a brighter tomorrow, probably not involved in a gang, or else they wouldn't be doing that. If they were some fancy gang kingpin, they wouldn't be mowing lawns in America. You morons. Clearly, these people mowing lawns and cleaning toilets and picking strawberries in America, clearly they're gang members.
It's law enforcement who are the enemy, not the actual criminal suspects. It's atrocious that she's calling this an atrocity. It's the rape and the murder of innocent people by illegals that are atrocious. We learned this from 9/11. What was it called? The stove piping. Those were the failure of agencies like the CIA and FBI to share key information. And
That's what caused the Homeland Security to happen, which is why we have Gestapo now. Great. The consolidation of power into just a few hands after 9/11 is not it's not the lesson of history that we should learn. The lesson of history that we should learn from 9/11 is that what affects the poorest people on planet Earth directly affects the richest people on planet Earth. The people who are being bombed and massacred in the Gulf states of this world, the people who are living in the desert and being tortured to death and getting bombed from the sky so that the oil money can keep flowing to places like New York and London. Those people who are dying, that directly affects the people in America. That's all. That's the big lesson of 9/11. You can't hide. If you're fucking around, you're going to find out. FAFO. That's what 9/11 was. FAFO.
a failure in the terrorism. So they created all these joint Paris task forces. She is deciding that that's wrong and that's immoral and that's not compassionate. And it's an insult to female leaders, women, that this is how they define compassion.
Ooh, what a moron. Okay, Mayday, you're here and you're still stupid. Awesome. You didn't get any smarter since yesterday. Awesome. You know, most people try to get smarter every day, but not you. That's what I like about you. You're just dumb every day. Every day you wake up, you look in the mirror and you're like, a ding dang do. I hope I'm as dumb as I was yesterday. Ineligible foreigners with commercial driver's licenses. Those were not ineligible foreigners, imbecile. Those people went and took their classes and passed. I had a CDL. It's not that hard to get a CDL. Dumbass. And they weren't ineligible. They had, a lot of them have TINs, a lot of them have temporary visas, temporary protected status. Those people have, a lot of them are asylum seekers. They come to this country, we let them in under, you know, the whole UN human rights rules and shit like that, our own policies, our own statutes. And then they get here and they aren't qualified for many jobs. They are eligible though, because we give them the ability to work, and then they apply and they can't get any jobs. So they need a job where they don't really have to speak English. So guess what they do? They go get jobs at like a CDL. Now, a commercial driver's license isn't very attractive to a person who's born here anymore, because because there's no future in that profession. In 20 years, most trucks will be driven by robots. So someone getting in right now can make a lot of good money, even though it's a very hard job, but they'll have no financial stability in the future. But if they're very smart, and a lot of immigrants are, they save their money, they're very frugal, they don't pay a lot, they try to get their money under control, because to them it's very precious, because they know what it's like to be poor. But see, Mayday, every day you should try to get just a little bit smarter. Read a book. We're
going to protect, because they think that compassion towards criminals is the same as just compassion. It's not. It's how you direct it, and it is an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment for female leaders to have this person in charge.
She is up for re-election, and she's running against Brad Blakeman, who's given her.
It's an embarrassment for female leaders to have the New York governor be female.
A little bit of a run for her money. He's a Nassau County commissioner, running for governor. Obviously, he would have a very different take. Bruce, sorry. Brad is his cousin, who I worked with at the White House. That's absolutely right. Let's talk about Bruce. Let's talk about Bruce.
Let's talk about Bruce.
Is the gift that she is giving.
But don't talk about Bruno. We could talk about Bruce, but don't talk about Bruno.
To him. When you are governor, you have to make tough choices. You also have to make nuanced decisions, and you have to have sophisticated messaging. Now, you know, this bam.
Mayday, every day you come in here and talk about how much you hate America. You hate the American system. You hate what makes America America. You hate the Constitution. Mayday, every single day you're here hating on America. And then you go and tell everybody else that we hate America because immigrants, because look, man, America is an immigrant country. After we killed all the Indians, 90%, after we killed all of 90% of the Native Americans, everyone else left is an immigrant, which is how America was formed. That's why we kind of do our American thing. We're kind of like, we're a colony and we're colonial. we're beneficiaries of a colonial system, which is inherently exploitative, violent, and unethical. How are we going to navigate the future? How are we going to make it fair and equitable for future generations? That's Americanism. You are anti-American. You should move to El Salvador, where they have a dictator, or to Saudi Arabia, where they're very into blood and soil politics. You'd love it there. You'd love it in Saudi Arabia. Move to Saudi Arabia, where they have a king, and you could kiss their asses and sniff their diapers and lick their marinated old man balls and treat women like shit. Move to Saudi Arabia, you maggers. Make America Saudi Arabia. Massa.
Like, ICE is bad, therefore sheriffs cannot work with ICE. That makes your state law enforcement hate you. You don't want to be in that position as governor. You have to be seen as a competent leader, and part of competence is being able to see the good parts of something and the bad parts of something.
Part of competence is also telling the federal government to go fuck themselves. That's part of being a governor. I don't know if you know this, but see, I was raised in California, and we had Republican governors mostly when I was a kid, and we had this one guy named Pete Wilson. You might have heard of him. Pete Wilson. He was a very down the middle of the road Republican up until Clinton, up until maybe after Clinton. California was always a swing state, but after George W. Bush, California has been very, very clearly a Democratic state because George W. Bush, not a good leader. Anyway, the point is that Pete Wilson, the governor of California, sued the federal government because he said that 6 million illegal immigrants were living in California, and they're supposed to have something to do with it. They're supposed to be able to build infrastructure, and Reagan had canceled all the infrastructure, had completely deinstitutionalized everybody, so they didn't have the federal dollars for it. They were supposed to patrol their own borders, which clearly in the Constitution is the job of the federal government. Why is California having to pay for this? They were going to have to pay to incarcerate people who break the law here, even though they're here illegally. That's something that the federal government is supposed to be handling or paying for, and they weren't. So Pete Wilson, when he left office, just sued the federal government. He sued the federal government. That's the job of a governor, is to hold the federal government to account. Hey, assholes, you're not doing your job. Where's my money? That's what the governor is supposed to be doing. You assholes better keep doing your jobs, the federal government, because we're paying you. And where's my money? Because I gave you all that money. I want that money. Give me my money. That's what the governor is supposed to be doing when it comes to interfacing with the federal government. Of course, they've got a lot of other jobs. Sure, they've got lots of other jobs. But when it comes to messing with the federal government, their job is to hold them accountable, to question authority, ask them, why do you have authority over us whatsoever if you're not coming correct with the cash? California, for example, gives 75% of their money to the federal government. Only 25% of our money comes back. We're a donor state. California gives more money to the federal government than it gets. So the job of the governor is, where's my money? The job of the senator also is to, where's my money? Where's my money?
Federal overreach is bad. So maybe you talk with the president, or you talk with Kash Patel, or you talk with Tom Homan, and you say, is there a way that you can reassure me as one of the biggest states in the union that your agents aren't going to overreach, that they're just going to go after the criminals? We would love to have these bad guys out of our state. But what she's doing when, she should, if she's using a megaphone, it should be on behalf of victims who have been harmed or lost their lives because of criminal illegal immigrants. She should be defending them. And it's not difficult to make the distinction between protecting people who are innocent, who are benefiting your state, and getting people the hell out of your state who are hell-bent on harm. Right? I've never understood.
Here's the thing. If we have to pay to arrest them, then the federal government's not doing their job. If the state troopers have to lift one finger to apprehend, one little finger, if a state trooper has to do anything to apprehend an illegal immigrant, the federal government is not doing their job. If a sheriff has to move one muscle to catch an illegal immigrant, the federal government is not doing their job. What's happening here is that the federal government is telling taxpayers in the state to do the job of the federal government. That is bullshit. I don't care. That used to be something that Republicans believed in. Pete Wilson literally sued the federal government about this, and he was Republican. Is Pete Wilson still alive? I don't know if Governor Pete Wilson, is he still alive? Yes, he's 92. We should elect him as president. He's 92 years old. Pete Wilson for president. My God, he's 92. Oh, my God. He was the mayor of San Diego. He was a United States senator, and he was the governor of California, and he was Republican. And he knew what it meant to be Republican. Federal government, we don't do your job. Do your job. Well, if you catch them, can you give them to us? No, asshole, do your job. Our job is not immigration enforcement. Read the fucking Constitution. The Constitution says immigration enforcement is the job of the federal government, not the states, not the local, not your city, not the LAPD, not the sheriff department, the federal government. And you guys are like, well, how come you're not helping us? Because fuck you. That's why. Where's the money? If you want help, give us money. That ain't hard. You say ice, ice, baby, then you're a bunch of crybabies. Anybody who likes ice is an imbecile who likes to cry and give the government money. You want to give them government more money so that jackbooted thugs can patrol your streets? You go right ahead. But that's not American. And then you're going to cry, oh, the police aren't helping. Why should they help? That's what the money's for. We gave them almost $1 trillion. Why the hell can't they do their jobs? If that's the job, and Tom Homan gets on TV every day and says, we're just doing our jobs. We're just doing our jobs. If you're just doing your jobs, then stop asking state troopers, local police, and sheriffs to do it for you. You punks. You little bitches. God damn.
Said that, Jessica. Like, why you wouldn't want to cross that off your to-do list?
Democrats used to demand border enforcement. They still do, imbecile. Democrats do the same thing. They demand border enforcement. Yeah, they demand infrastructures to support the inevitability that people are coming to this country. So they demand infrastructure and patrols. Yeah, exactly. California is the #1 border crossing in the world, Tijuana. The #1 in the world. And when you go there, there's razor wire and there's all this. And they're a huge employer. INS is a huge, well, not ICE. ICE is a huge, CBP and ICE, huge employers in California. Huge. Democrats want the same thing. They just don't like ICE going door to door, killing people's dogs and murdering citizens in the street. You see the difference? Again, Barack Obama, a Democrat, put children in cages. You love that shit, right? You love that shit. You must love Barack Obama. You love Barack Obama. He put children in cages. He deported far more people than Donald Trump. If anything, right now, you should want to be a Democrat. Because Democrats put more people in concentration camps, killed fewer of them, killed 0 American citizens here at home. I mean, they killed citizens overseas with the drones and stuff, but that's a whole other thing. But for as far as immigration enforcement is concerned, Barack Obama did everything that you wished for. Why don't you love him? Because he's black. He's black. He's black.
It's like, I don't have to worry about that guy anymore. We'll get him out of here.
Or I don't want to have to think about, if you were being ruthless, another hearing where Sheridan Gorman's mother, Jessica, is sitting there sobbing, begging for...
Liar! Liar! You're lying! Look it up, asshole. Fact check me, you piece of garbage. Fact check me. Barack Obama delivered on the promises of Donald Trump. I'm not the one who hates. I mean, I don't like Barack Obama. I don't like Donald Trump. I'm not some simp for any politician. But you guys, Barack Obama does everything you wished for, and yet you love Donald Trump. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Stupid. I bet you are weak. I challenge you. I challenge you to an arm wrestling match, loser.
to help her in a bipartisan way. These are political layups to me. I don't understand why you wouldn't take them, because on this particular issue, everybody, and most Democrats when they're interviewed will say this, is relieved that the border is closed. We can have a conversation about the fact
the border's closed. The border has always and always will be in every country in the world, every country. It is the most inefficient part of the nation state. Always has been. Since we started doing the whole nation states things instead of empires, it's been very inefficient. So closing the border doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean anything. All it means is that we are not fulfilling our responsibilities under the UN Charter for Human Rights because we aren't allowing asylum seekers anymore, which, you know, is against the laws of God and man. But whatever. You guys don't think asylum's a real thing. You know, you don't think human rights are a real thing. You don't believe in human rights. I get it. MAGA hates human rights. Understood. But that's not closing the border. You know what I mean? That ain't closing the border. People still come. They're still crawling across the border. They're still flying here, outstaying their visas, all those things. They're still doing all of those things. And they will continue because human beings like moving around. Things happen, they move around. Guess what's going to happen with this flood in Nepal? All those people will move. The ones who survive and are now homeless will move. And they'll go different places. Some will end up in China. Some will end up in India. Some will end up in America. That's what happens. That's what humanity does. That's why we're literally everywhere. That's why we got that's why we've got bitches up in Alaska sitting there, you know, frying beans over a little fire in a cabin in the middle of nowhere without plumbing or electricity. We got people in Alaska cooking beans over a fire in a cabin with no power because Americans and human beings go everywhere. That's what we do.
there are people with legitimate asylum claims who are not getting through the system. I do not think that it is a good thing that so many people here with visas, legal right to work, are just self-deporting even because of the fact that we're going to start yanking back these permissions.
Ooh, who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Never been in a fight? Oh, I've been in lots of fights, buddy. I've been in lots of fights. I've been in lots and lots and lots of fights. Tons of fights. Come on down.
I think that immigrants, many, certainly the legal ones and a lot of the illegal ones, make our country better, but not the criminals. And we have seen this swing in...
Oh, wait. Let me see. Mayday. I haven't even read this. I saw the word asylum, Mayday. I saw your name next to it. This is fresh take. I didn't read it. Let's just see. When seeking asylum, you seek at the first democratic country you arrive at, not go all the way to America to get on our welfare. Our welfare? Okay, Mayday. Once again, you're too stupid to breathe. Hold your breath. Hold your breath. What welfare are you talking about? You think America's known for its welfare system? Is that what you think? Are you that dumb? Are you that stupid? People go where there's money. Because we live in this weird, fucked up capitalist system. They go wherever they can get fed, where they can get money. They want to work. People don't want handouts. They want to work for their money. You think people come here and they do nothing? You think that's what's happening? Is that why there's so many people working on the landscaping? Is that why there's so many people working in slaughterhouses? All those Somali people that moved to Minnesota in order to work at the slaughterhouses, and now all of a sudden you're upset that there's Somali people living in Minnesota? Why do you think they're there? Why do you think they moved to Minnesota, where it snows all the damn time? They're from Somalia. Why do you think they moved there? For the welfare? You're dumber somehow you get dumber every single day, Mayday. It's an embarrassment. Are you degrading? Do you have dementia? Are you getting worse every day? Are you on the downslope, Mayday? Jesus Christ. They're coming here for our welfare. Yeah, that's what makes America famous, is our welfare system. Everyone knows that. We're practically Norway over here. We're just like Norway. Tons of welfare.
Of another way to implement immigration policy. Donald Trump is one of his best issues. Now he's underwater on it. But that could slip away from us if this continues, because I think people will choose the harsher path than the lenient one. And you watch, like, Alex Preddy's family were interviewed by George Stephanopoulos, and they're talking about
this idiot
son.
Iranians killed people. Man, do you want to talk about how many people the Americans have killed? Do you want to talk about how many people America has killed? Really? Iran killed people. Okay, so have we. The state kills people. That's what we do. The government kills people. The government kills people in every country, but America's way up there. Would you like to look up the numbers?
You know, a sibling being murdered by ICE, and that there has been no accountability for that. And that is a tragedy and something that also changed course in the way that ICE was allowed to.
It's so funny. Why is there so much corruption in the Somali community? It's so funny that you say that. I love that. The big Somali scandal about the daycare, all the people in charge were white people. There happens to be a lot of people working in that sector that are Somali, and those people either got caught up in some bullshit or got where the getting's good. We're tacking it on to them. During COVID time, there was a lot of corruption because the federal government was handing out money under both presidents, under Donald Trump and Joe Biden, and who'd they give the money to? Companies, organizations, and not individuals. They could have skipped all that corruption by just giving the money to you and me, the taxpayer, but instead they gave it to organizations and businesses, and there was a ton of corruption. Even the Lakers were caught doing almost identical things where they were inflating numbers on their payroll, and they were trying to get PPP money. They got caught and they gave the money back immediately, but the Lakers committed fraud. They shouldn't exist anymore. So you could say that, why is the NBA so corrupt? You could say that about any business. I worked for a business that literally told me that they committed that fraud. They told me they did it. It was too late because I had already, the PPP thing had already happened. But I knew lots of people who were involved in that fraud. All white people, by the way. So the question is, why is it such a big deal that the Somali community is under attack right now and being singled out for something that was rampant during the time? Something interesting about that. If they aren't particularly corrupt. That's just something. It's a narrative that you are consuming as propaganda and then regurgitating as a good little Nazi. So yeah, context is important, and sure, every community did it. By the way, the Hasidic Jews had a problem with corruption. The NBA had a problem with corruption. Food and beverage had a problem with corruption. Giant resorts had a problem with corruption. The government, Donald Trump, why is the Trump family so prone to corruption? There's corruption at every level. And for some reason, all of a sudden, you're like, those Somalis are corrupt. So what is different about the Somalis? What is different about the Somali community? Because before, remember, they were saying that the Somali community were eating the dogs and the cats, and now they're corrupt. Now they're pirates. Now they're whatever. Why? Why is that group? What is the trait? Name that trait. What is the trait that makes the Somali community? I could think of two that makes them so tantalizing to turn into this, to spin this narrative that they're the only corrupt group. Why? What is it?
Operate, that's how Tom Homan.
So we saw the tape, and then we realized that he was agitating.
Oh my God.
Kicking
Okay.
Didn't he kick the?
Yeah.
He kicked it. He was
George Floyd
holding a gun.
overdosed, and
A guy
Alex
comes and attacks
Freddie
your car, and he's holding a
wasn't
gun.
murdered. Okay.
What is a cop supposed to do? I mean, he brought it up. I'm just giving you the facts.
You're not editing.
You did not mention the facts of the story.
Okay.
I had to put it in there.
Okay.
I'm your AI. Your Grok.
Cancel Claude. I definitely would not use Grok.
But that's what happened.
No, okay,
He
right.
kicked the car. He broke a
And I
window.
heard
He had a
from you
gun.
last week that George Floyd would be bopping around, no problem. That he overdosed instead of the fact that Derek Chauvin had his
He
knee on his
overdosed. He
neck.
also overdosed a few weeks before. He was in intensive care.
Yeah, it's so funny. It looks Greg Gutfeld wants to say that because a week previous or something like that, Alex Preddy, there was a tape of him kicking a car. Not the day he was murdered. Not the day he was murdered.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Call me Grok 2.2.
He was a saint.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, call Greg Gutfeld Grok 2 because Greg Gutfeld is also Mecha Hitler.
Excuse him.
Be sure to like and
Election to affect this election, and if it does, do you have any sense of how many Arizonans might not get early ballots delivered?
Well, what I would say is, over my dead body is that rule going to go into effect. We are going to fight this tooth and nail in the courts, and I've got the best solicitor general in the country standing right there, who is going to make sure, along with.
Yeah, you woke losers, stop. Stop. Keep crying, woke losers. It's funny. The only people I know who's crying are MAGA, and I'm not one of those super woke. I'm always critical of the woke 1 and woke 2, whatever. These young people, those young whippersnappers who are just understanding, just coming to terms with the systemic oppression. But hey, yeah, they're the ones crying. And they're the ones crying, but they're also the violent ones who commit all the crimes, right? right? Is that the narrative now? The woke liberals are the crybabies, but they're also the ones doing all the crimes and doing all the violence, right? But they're crybabies. They're just crybabies, but they're also the most violent. Is that the narrative now? Meanwhile, MAGA, Donald Trump is literally crying so hard that they took his name off the Kennedy Center. This little bitch is saying that he wants to tear down the Kennedy Center. And it's the woke liberals who are crying. Jesus.
The other attorneys general who are fighting this case. I think 25 states signed on to this lawsuit this morning. But yeah, I mean, you're right. There is a second injunction, but the second injunction is on the executive order. What the Supreme Court actually did is they ruled that our first lawsuit was not ripe.
It wasn't ripe. Yeah. So now they have to just have to get the timing right when it comes to the Supreme Court. It wasn't ripe enough. They picked the fruit before it was ripe enough. So now they got to sue all over again. So we're going to waste a bunch of money and do the whole thing over again. Arizona is now involved. That liberal hotbed, Arizona, is also suing Donald Trump. How weird. How weird that they're still doing that. Immigrant cows are taking American jobs thanks to Trump. Who'da thunk it? I called it, actually. I told everyone this was going to happen because JBS was the single most, like $5 million, the single greatest contributor to the inauguration of Donald Trump was JBS, a Brazilian meatpacking company. Now, that meatpacking company, guilty of bribes. They had $33 million in fines, the biggest penalty in Brazilian history. And Bolsonaro was part of that bribery. They put Bolsonaro in jail, even though Donald Trump planned a literal military incursion or to rescue him from incarceration because he's friends with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is very upset. Right after that, Donald Trump put 50% tariffs on Brazil, and then later on lifted the tariffs when it came to coffee, but it was too late because it fucked up the infrastructure, and now my coffee is about 70% more than it was before Donald Trump was in office. But hey, let's not talk about coffee. It's all about JBS. It was against the law for JBS to be traded on the New York Stock Exchange because of all of their bribery scandals, because they were guilty of bribery here in America and also in Brazil. They also illegally chopped down swaths of the Brazilian rainforest, the Amazon, because they wanted for soy farms and grazing pastures for cows. But whatever. Then all of a sudden, right after the inauguration, everything is reversed course, and now the New York Stock Exchange does have JBS. By June of 2025, they had JBS on the New York Stock Exchange. It only took him 6 months to make good on his promise to make JBS billions of dollars. And now JBS, the number one meat packing company in America, owned by Brazil, is making money hand over fist. Because the thing about it, the ranchers might get screwed in America, but he doesn't care about them because they don't have the money they used to. JBS has the money, and they bribe politicians. As far as we know, they've already given Donald Trump over $5 million. That's pretty good, right? $5 million. And all you got to do is screw over our ranchers. So now meatpacking businesses are going to make a lot of money. And those companies are mostly owned by China and Brazil. You can't make it up. It's just right there. And yet Americans are so stupid. They're like, I don't know why Donald Trump would do something against the ranchers of America. Why would they do that? America, Donald Trump, I thought you loved America. Meanwhile, all these ranchers are like, guess we're going to take over, we're going to bend over this fence and let Donald Trump stick it in again. Ding, dang, do. Why do we do this to ourselves again? Why do we keep on doing this to ourselves? How do we keep on falling for the same con over and over again? How do we keep on doing that?
Incredibly important day as we're tracking across multiple value sets. As we've sat there from day one of President Trump's inauguration, protecting Oregon's values, protecting our elections is an absolute top priority. It's something that we're high alert right now as we're less than 2 months away from the election here in the United States. And the most important.
I love the illiteracy of these maggers. I would have took your looch money. I would have took you looch money. I would have took your looch money. It's just so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing how illiterate you guys are. I mean, did you go to school in Mississippi? You go to school in Mississippi where you don't learn how to read so good.
Important value that we're committed to is making sure that our elections are accurate and that they have integrity as we move forward. And frankly, that all Americans and all Oregonians have trust in our elections. What has gone on over the past 2 years is the president has been committed to maintaining power as he goes through his policy decisions. So you look at some of the first things that went on where there was the redistricting push in conservative states to redraw the line so that they can maintain power in Congress. And they've been attacking essential ways that Americans and Oregonians have been voting for decades under Republican control, decades under Democratic control.
Add Oregon to the list. So now we have Oregon, Oregon, a blue state, kind of understandable, but Arizona, Oregon, Colorado, all these states, we've got 20 states now suing Donald Trump. 20. Half the country is suing Donald Trump, and y'all are like, oh, ding dang do, he's the best president. He's super popular. Sure enough, he's super popular, super duper popular, ding dang do. The only reason some people think that Kamala wouldn't do as good a job as Trump is because they weren't mature or responsible enough to research the candidates. They only watched her name and meme clips. They also, she's a woman, you see. She's a woman, and as we know, MAGAs love cock and balls. MAGAs love cock and balls. They're really into it. I don't know, man. Dick is still popular. MAGAs love the shaft, and so they hated Kamala. They also, they'll take an 80-year-old white person over a 60-year-old black person any day of the week, these racist pieces of garbage. And they, especially you add the cock and balls, they're going for it. They're going to town on the cock and balls. So the funny thing is that she actually had experience. I don't like Kamala Harris, but she had lots of experience putting black and brown people in jail for minor crimes. So you'd think that they love her. MAGA should love her. MAGA should love her, and they should love Barack Obama because they both put lots of black and brown people in incarcerated cages. They put children in cages. They both put lots of kids in cages, black and brown ones, and for committing no crime or very small crimes. And so you'd think that they would love Barack Obama and Kamala Harris. So what do you think? Name that trait. What is the trait that is present in Kamala Harris and Barack Obama that makes them hate them? Since they do all the things that they claim to want. They do all the things that MAGA loves. So why do they hate Barack Obama and Kamala Harris?
Very much. For more on this, let's bring in Caroline Downey, National Review columnist, and Gianno Caldwell, Fox News political analyst. Good to have you both here. Caroline, I get a sense that what we're seeing is a growing apprehension from the public because of all the stuff that's come out about these socialist candidates. John
Fetterman's the only sane. John Fetterman is literally diagnosed as not sane. Like doctors have diagnosed him with mental illness. What does that say about you? If you think that Fetterman, who's diagnosed to be mentally unstable, and that's your guy, huh? That's the guy that you think is just he sounds like a MAGA, though. I like him. He sounds like a MAGA. He's sane. Yeah.
The Marxist tendencies, if not out-and-out communist tendencies.
Communism.
Some of them have. And people are very wary.
Look out for the communism.
That right now. Is it too early to say that?
Well, look, I think it's very clear that there's an insurgency going on within the Democratic Party. Some of the heavyweights are saying, oh, well, it's a healthy discernment. It's a debate about the direction of the party. No. It is a hostile takeover. And it turns out that Chuck Schumer and a couple others are willing to lie down and take it. They're saying, well, we would rather adapt and accommodate these insurgents to survive than actually reckon with what the heart and soul of our party is, which used to be free enterprise and capitalism for a very long time. That was not in dispute.
What are you talking about? Highest gas prices in history under Democrats? Are you that stupid? Okay, so Joe Biden's, in that first year of Joe Biden, the gas prices were high because, this thing called COVID was going on. I don't know if you remember that. There was this thing called supply chain issues because of Donald Trump's mishandling of the epidemic. So really that first year, since we gave Donald Trump the whole first year to blame on Biden, right? The whole first year, all Biden's fault. Then all of Joe Biden's first year is Donald Trump's fault. So that first year of Joe Biden where the prices were high, that was Donald Trump's economy. Now at the end, on the fourth year of Joe Biden, the prices were at $3.16 or something like that at the end. Now it's at $4.40, something like that. So Donald Trump in his second year has risen the prices of gasoline by $1 single-handedly by himself. So you are a liar and you're a moron. Thank you. I like stupid liars, my favorite. Most liars are stupid, just like most criminals are pretty stupid, because if they were smart, they could just go get a job and actually make money. They could go create something. But no, most criminals are pretty dumb, which is why they end up in jail and end up get caught. You know what I mean? Rich criminals, they get caught, but then they get off. Like Donald Trump keeps getting caught committing crimes because he's an idiot. He's so stupid. He keeps getting caught doing crimes, but because he's rich and famous, he gets away with it. Like OJ. Kind of like OJ. Donald Trump is basically white OJ.
Between Republicans and Democrats. Now apparently it is. But I'd say this the key races we need to look at. Obviously in Michigan, El Sayed is coming in hot, but that's a competitive state, not a battleground, right? Trump
By the way, the numbers are almost dead even right now,
Yeah.
46% per candidate. But I want to bring Giano in because there is a little bit of pushback from some mainstream candidates, from
Say it again. Say the C word.
some of the old guard, and about what's happening. And El Sayed, she's not come out.
Well, she's got bruises on her arms. Are you into some kinky stuff? She's got some bruises on her arms that make me think. Never mind.
Fully in favor of him, although she kind of is, but she's definitely come out fully against his backer, Mr. Piker, Hassan Piker, who is just in so many ways an awful influence in the body politic of America. Just can't be understated how
Yeah. In his privilege. Like, what's funny? I met OJ many times. I actually babysat OJ's kids during the trial, just once. But I had my problem with the law at the same time OJ did. Very different crimes, of course, but both involving knives, oddly. And I ended up in trouble with the police the same time OJ did, and I had to do all this community service. And I worked for I managed this thrift store that was for battered women's shelters, and I met the Nicole Brown Simpson It was the Nicole Brown Simpson Foundation, and I met her sisters and OJ's kids and everything. And met Gloria Allred, and the Goldman family. It was kind of cool. I was young, and I was kind of right in the middle of the trial of the century. Such a weird life I've led. And what's crazy about it is that OJ, people were just like, nope. He's not guilty. No. It's like all the evidence is mounting against him. No. Because he's famous and he's rich and he's cute and people like him and he's funny. He's funny and he's famous and he's rich and he's cute. So, hey, he couldn't be guilty.
bad he is, or overstated how bad he is. But Debbie Dingell herself, here's what she said about Hassan Piker's influence in the Democratic Party. Roll tape.
Hassan Piker, though.
I think it's incumbent upon Abdul to make it very clear to people that he doesn't agree with things that Hassan Piker says. I pray we're not going to see him in Michigan from now until the election.
Pale as fuck. Do you guys not know how the internet works? Here we go. Does that give me more color? Yeah, here we go. Here we go. There we go. Now I look a little different. It's the lights, dumb shit. People are so stupid. I could be any color I want. I could be red, pink, green. I could be whatever I want. I just like to light up because the background is not the right color right now because my studio has changed. People are so funny. They're like, so pale. So pale. You're so pale. Complexion of Casper the Ghost. No, man, I live in Albuquerque. I think I'm a good color, actually. I just, how white is this shirt? This shirt is actually not even that white anymore. It's an old shirt. But on the screen, it looks white. Some people don't know how lighting works or how the internet works or how, live streaming works. And I get that. I don't expect you to understand everything. But if you're so stupid that you're going online and commenting on how people look, you deserve to die. Welcome. You deserve to die. Die. Straight up die. Like in Saudi Arabia, if you said something like that, they would just chop off your head. Thank you.
He can't shake what happened. The day before, the entire day he was with Piker, El Sayed was, and hobnobbing with him and having jokes with him. And I mean, you just can't strip that away. And believe me, Rogers, his competitor, Rogers, the GOP candidate, is going to be putting that out in ads from now until November.
Hassan Piker is a far-left lunatic who I've personally debated one-on-one in person on Fox.
Wow, you personally debated Hassan Piker? Wow, you're up there with, I don't know, Destiny. Everyone's debated Hassan Piker. Everyone has.
LA. He People can go on YouTube and find it. I destroyed him. And I got to be honest.
I destroyed
the
him.
fact that the Democratic Party, many of them have embraced the kind of rhetoric, anti-Semitic rhetoric that's come from Hassan Piker, and these ridiculous ideas shows you where the Democratic Party is. They're looking for an audience wherever they can get it. If it's the KKK, I'm sure they'll be more than willing to take some of that support. And I know that sounds very harsh to say, but
Yeah, it sounds harsh to say, especially since Donald Trump accepted an endorsement from the KKK. So, and the Proud Boys, Donald Trump accepts endorsements from the KKK. Yeah, so it's a little bit far-fetched to think Hassan Piker is going to accept an endorsement from the KKK. Ding dang do. You know what's funny is that they keep on trying to throw this anti-Semitic word out and nobody buys it. The Jewish people don't even buy it. The only people I've ever heard say that they believe that the left wing is anti-Semitic are weird half-Jews and people that are just I'm culturally not Jewish, but my great-grandmother was Jewish and therefore I have a problem with the Democrat. That's the only people I've heard who have a problem with the Democrats because they're anti-Semitic. They're not anti-Semitic. They just don't like doing what Israel says. They just don't like the money from Israel being in politics all of a sudden because it's popular. But, Democrats for years have been taking money from Israel. For years. Years and years and years. They've been taking, since 2010. Since 2010. Years. AIPAC.
If President Trump escalates, Canada needs to...
Oh, David, you must be real DTF, huh? You're real DTF. You're constantly talking about the way I look. Honey, I'm taken. Honey, you're not my type. David, you're not my type. Take it easy, baby doll. I know. Why you so thirsty, honey? Take it easy. Talking about my baggy eyes. Oh my goodness. At my age, I'm almost 50, homie. Shit, I'm 50 years old. You don't think I earned these baggy eyes? I'm fucking 50 years old, son. The fuck you talking about? At my age, I feel like I'm looking pretty good at my age. I woke up like this. I'm not wearing makeup like your favorite president. I'm not wearing all this makeup like your favorite Secretary of War. This is just my face. This is what I look like. I didn't have to have gender-affirming care like Marco Rubio and Elon Musk. I didn't have to have gender-affirming care like Donald Trump. Donald Trump with his liposuction out of fucking taking liposuction everywhere, getting his hairlines sewn up, getting his hair sewn together, or Marco Rubio getting hair plugs. No, I don't have to do all that. I was born this way. 50 years old, my eyeballs are a little saggy. Sorry, that's normal. That's what men look like at 50. This is what men are supposed to look like at 50. They're not supposed to look like bloated corpses like your favorite politicians.
Be ready to do the same. Everything.
Here's a bloated corpse. He's over in Canada. I really like what he says, though. He's a fun one. I like this. This guy's like, I don't know what Donald Trump is talking about. Let's see what he says.
If President Trump escalates, Canada needs to be ready to do the same. Everything needs to be on the table. We need to use Canada's many points of leverage to create maximum impact, targeting deep red states and making sure that America's economy feels the pain.
Okay, I was just wondering, you sounded a little more subdued than you did this morning on the radio when you said Donald Trump could kiss your ass. Did the Prime Minister tell you?
Well, that's a difference between a radio interview and then standing at a podium, you stupid imbecile. Yeah, it's different when I'm standing at a podium. It's called situational awareness. But yeah, it's a little different when I deliver something on the stump.
Ask you to tone it down a bit?
No, he didn't. I'm not going to comment, but he wasn't against that. And I have a lot of real estate on my ass, so he has a lot of room to kiss my ass.
There you go. You want me to call you? You're asking me to tell Donald Trump to kiss my ass? Here you go. I got a big one. He could pucker up. I like this self-deprecating. I love the self-deprecating Canadians. I got a lot of real estate on my big Canadian ass. He can kiss it. Kiss my big Canadian ass. This is the Ontario Premier. This is the governor of Ontario, so to speak.
To respond to these shots, what would you say to the president?
Is he a governor? I guess he's like a governor in parliamentary government. I think the Premier is the governor of Ontario. Do we have any Canadians in the House?
No, I don't respond to a dictator like President Trump, a bully like President Trump. As I said before, he's the type of guy in school that would take your lunch money one day, take your toque off your head the next day, and then steal your running shoes.
Your toque? Take your toque off your head. Oh, man, I love Canadians. A toque is like in America, we call them beanies. I don't know why we call them beanies, but they call them toques. He's the type of guy who's going to come out here and take the toque off your head and the next day steal your lunch money. Why don't ya, eh?
I'm not going to take any advice off a guy that's the king of bankruptcies. We'll see how
I'm not going to take any advice from the guy with the king of bankruptcies. Why are Canadians smarter than Americans? Is it because they stay inside more because it's cold? Do they stay inside more and they're able to be like, I don't know, they read more or something? Why are Canadians smarter than we are? It doesn't seem fair. There's only like 30 million Canadians and they all seem smarter than all these stupid Americans I have to deal with. All these imbeciles, all these leptons. What's that? I love that line in Blazing Saddles where he's like, you know, this is the American West, salt of the earth people, the common folk, you know, morons.
goes, but he wants to put pain on Canadians. We'll leverage every bit of pain we possibly can on Americans. And you know, I feel bad for. I've always said I love the American people. I still stand by that statement because there's a lot of people in the U.S. that are calling me saying, way to go, keep going. You know, your own people, President Trump, don't even like you. And they're going to speak loud and clear when it comes to the midterms. And if I was allowed to, I'd be down there door knocking. You know, something in this game.
If I were allowed to, I'd be door knocking because you aren't fit to serve. You aren't fit to serve, Donald Trump. Man. These Canadians, they're smarter than we are. How come they can see it, but we can't?
A lot longer than he has. I got skin on me like an alligator. And you think an insult from him hurts me? Well, bring it on, buddy. I'm ready. Bring it on. You know something? I've dealt with guys like you my whole life. And guess what? You all become losers because you're a loser.
Damn. You bullies all become losers. It's true. You know, every dictator ends up dragged through the street and punched in the face or dug out of some spider hole or pulled out of some bunker. Every single dictator. That's how. It's amazing that dictators still want to do the job. You'd think that I get why Donald Trump wants to do it. He just doesn't want to go to jail. He figures he's only going to, at that age, you got to figure you got 5 years left tops, right? He's not going to make it to 90. Donald Trump's got 5 years left tops. I don't think he's got 6 months left, but hey, that's just me. I don't think Donald Trump's going to live another 6 months. All these 80-year-olds dying. Donald Trump is 80 years old, and Tim Curry and Dolly Parton both died this week at 80. I mean, Lindsey Graham died. Lindsey Graham, that's the best thing he ever did. He had the dignity. Lindsey Graham finally mustered the dignity to at least die on time. Way to go, Lindsey. Way to go. Thank you, Lindsey Graham, for dying. Trump claims CIA Director Ratcliffe's surprise trip to Russia is semi-routine. It's half routine, everybody. Semi means half. It's half routine for the CIA director to hang out in Russia. Yeah. It's totally just a surprise trip on Wednesday to Russia. It's semi-routine though. It's half routine. Half routine. Yeah. Why would you make an unannounced trip to Russia? We don't know. Why would the CIA do that? It's half routine. It's half routine. Yeah, Lindsey Graham, true evil. At least he died on time. You know, he had his 35 years of power in the Senate, and then he died. At least, you know, he didn't outwear his he did outwear his welcome. He did. He was there far too long. But, you know, at least he's gone. Donald Trump, he lingers like a fart. He lingers like a cheesy fart. Get rid of him. Donald, you're doing too much, baby. It's time to go to bed, Grandpa. It's time to go to bed. It's time to take that long dirt nap, Grandpa. Time to take that long dirt nap, Grandpa. Time to go. And all of us have to go through it. All of us do. Like, my father has dementia, and as much as I wish that my dad was the same, I wish that I could have conversations with him that made sense, but now it's just like, yeah, oh, those are the conversations now. And as much as I like to have him back, maybe patch up some things, get some closure on some stuff, just like everybody with their parents, the only logical thing to hope for is a swift and painless demise. Just like Donald Trump. I just want him to shuffle off this mortal coil. It's time, Grandpa. It's time. This is elder abuse at this point, what we're doing to this guy.
President Trump is planning to import 300,000 metric tons of beef, tariff-free over the next 90 days in an effort to bring down beef prices. NBC Montana's Phil Howard is working for you to find out how it affects your wallet and
Wow, say that about your own dad. Whoa. Listen, crybaby. You've been crybaby. You're such a crybaby. Can we get some wet floor signs for David, please? We need some wet floor signs for David in the chat, please. Please, please give me some wet floor signs because he's crying. There's a slip hazard, everybody. You guys are going to slip and fall. You wish the worst for you. Why is that the worst? That's the best. The best case scenario is that he dies nicely in his sleep without losing his brain to the point where he's unable to have any kind of conversations anymore. You're a loser, David. You're a loser. You don't understand. You must be, are you 12? You must be 12. Or you must be 12 years old if you don't understand what parental mortality is. Anybody in the chat who has, is there anybody in the chat who has a dead parent who wished, and you wish they went a little bit more kindly into the grave? Do any of you wish that your parents suffered less when they died? Do we have anybody here in the chat that wishes that their parent or parents suffered less when they died?
What it means for local ranchers.
The announcement met with backlash from Montana's congressional delegation, other GOP lawmakers, and leaders in the ranching community.
If you had the chance to talk to President Trump, what would you?
This guy has all of this sound abatement in his, he's got all this soundproofing thing, and he still sounds like shit. How is that possible?
Say to him.
Well, I would thank him for what he's done on tax policy and on those issues.
Second Vice President, Montana Stockgrowers Association.
But I would just remind him that it's supply and demand economics, and you cannot provide a quick fix to an issue that's going to take several years to rectify itself.
Right, supply and demand. That's what all these idiots always, it's supply and demand. Supply and demand doesn't exist anymore. There's no such thing as supply and demand anymore. That's something they taught you in high school as a myth as to how the economy works. That's not how the economy works anymore. Supply and demand.
Lesh says the Montana Stockgrowers Association has been in touch with Montana lawmakers and is thankful for their support. But
typically through the end of the year, September through December, that's when most of the ranchers in Montana cull cows. And cull cows make up the large majority of the hamburger that's made available in the domestic market. So it's having a significant economic impact on live cattle prices.
The U.S. already imports about 10.
Ooh, I love this guy. Democrats. Why are you talking about Democrats, loser? I'm not a Democrat. Once again, not a Democrat, loser. But the Democrats have all the same plans as the Republicans at this point, just a little nicer. They'll put lube on before they stick it in your butthole. That's basically the difference between Republicans and Democrats at this point. But hey, what are their solution to fix these problems? I don't know. Why don't you read the solutions, imbecile? Donald Trump's plan is, we got concepts of plans. Donald Trump's plan is, we're going to kill all of the Iranian school children. Donald Trump's plan is, we're going to murder or kidnap heads of state that disagree with us. Those are the plans. So far, the economy has shrunk for the first time in decades. It's down only 0.5%. Our GDP is down 0.5%. It's bad news. Unemployment's up, deficit is at 40 trillion. Nothing's good right now economic wise in Donald Trump's administration. Gas prices are up, grocery prices are up, home prices are weird. Building a new home is far more expensive than it's supposed to be, which makes a weird housing market. Everything's fucked. It's not looking good. It's just not looking good. So when you say things like Democrats though, you're an idiot. You're just a fool.
Percent of its beef. Since 1995, tariff rate quotas impose limits on how many pounds of beef can be imported before countries face about a 26% tariff. The president is slashing that rate, which economists say can modestly decrease prices. But by how much? If you take
when Sayard said his dad died after 2 years of fucking cancer from a strong man to a skeleton in 2 years. Yeah, this is something. My grandfather died at 83. And that last year was rough, man. It was sad. This towering man, I was like, I think it was like, 11 or 12, maybe 13 when he died. And I was tall for a kid, but my grandfather still was this, barrel-chested giant farmer man. He was grew up on a farm, and he was in 1908 grew up on a farm, and then he became a construction man. He was just this giant man with hands like the size of baseball mitts, and then when he died, he was in a diaper repeating the words, "I'm coming around. I'm coming around. I'm coming around," thinking that he was going to get better. Looking at me, recognizing me but not knowing who I was. That was the last time I saw my grandfather. And if you have any tiny bit of any shred of humanity, you would want people to suffer less. Thank you so much.
Basic economics class. If you increase imports, you're going to see a lower price. But I think where economists are trying to figure things out is what kind of an impact does that mean on prices? What's the magnitude?
Well, what will this impact? Your check at a high-end steakhouse? Or a cheeseburger?
We import a lot of them.
Or a cheeseburger. If you're still eating cheeseburgers in America, you deserve meningitis. You deserve anything that's coming at you. You deserve E. coli. You deserve the shits.
That hamburger, the components for the hamburger, because that's a very large portion of the market. And so that's really where you could see some price go down. So on some of the hamburgers, I would not expect for this to impact, if you go to a restaurant and order that, ribeye steak, you're probably not going to see much of an impact on that price.
Velasco says there's a few ways to drive down prices. Increasing domestic herd sizes, a much longer process, which Lesh says ranchers are hesitant to do with rising production costs and drought, or increasing imports at the expense of Montana ranchers. I'm Phil Howard reporting.
Oh, that's what they're doing right now. You can't hear the audio, but they're going. Got a five. Have you ever been to a livestock auction? They're fascinating. They're just slave auctions. We still do slave auctions in America. There they are, right there. Buy and sell living creatures that would rather be free. What an awesome thing. The thing is, when you import large sums of ground beef, it's usually dairy cattle that is already being subsidized by the federal government. So it makes sense that they would do this because the Dairy Association, they don't care how they make their money. They have government contracts, and people aren't buying milk like they used to. People in school are just throwing it away, School lunch programs, they're trying to cut those anyway. They don't want to spend money on school lunch programs, which involves milk, dairy. And, so most of the time they're making more money off of killing animals than they are off of the dairy. People think of dairy as the dairy industry as oh, they're just milking cows happily and everyone's happy. It's not true. Not even close. It's a killing field. They're killing millions of animals every year, and to increase that kind of pool of ground beef, mostly for ground beef, and to increase that pool of ground beef by bringing in Donald Trump's allies like JBS and whatever's in Argentina, that makes perfect sense. He gets the kickback. The dairy farmers of America, they get they're going to get the same amount of money probably. So who gets hurt? Who gets hurt? Who do you think gets hurt? What externality do you think will result from this?
I'm national correspondent Kayla Gaskins in Washington. The Trump
Kayla
administration is
Gaskins.
expanding its immigration crackdown, and increasingly that crackdown is reaching legal pathways into the United States. Now immigrant visa appointments are being paused around the world as officers undergo new training. A new round of tougher visa screening now going global.
Shane.
The State Department says they're
Shane on you. Have you ever seen that movie Shane? Have you guys ever? Who was in the movie Shane? It was a big movie. Shane. Who was that guy? Alan Ladd. Shane. You guys ever seen this movie? You ever seen the movie Shane? Here you go. Shane. Yes. Shane on you, Sky. I'm a cowboy. There's Shane dancing. MAGA will never be as masculine as Shane. Shane dances with women. He protects women. Shane would be murdered by ICE because he protects women. There he is. Shane. Everyone loves Shane, right? Shane. You ever see? I can't play the any of the trailers or else I'll get a copyright violation. There he is at his log cabin. Shane. 1953. Oh, look at that over at Monument Valley. Look how beautiful. You ever been to Monument Valley? Shane. Quintessential American. Everyone loves. That's the great poster, man. Oh, that's the DVD cover. There we go. Shane, and he shot a man, and he's dropping his pistol. Yeah. Rootin' tootin'. See, there he is with a woman. There he is shooting a guy. There he is punching a guy. Remember when men used to be protecting women. Remember that when men would protect women? There he is hugging his woman, Shane. What a great movie. You guys should watch it. There he is, George Stevens and Shane. I kind of miss the old representation. They're problematic, sure. It's problematic, but I kind of miss the old representations of masculinity where men cared about women. Men cared about freedom and liberty and protecting people. They had that masculine urge to make the world a better place, to protect those that the government was oppressing. And almost every Western is about anarchism. And it's one of the reasons why I like Westerns, because usually it is, hey, government, get out of my business. I got women to protect. I know there's problematic stuff in Westerns. Don't get me started. There's lots of problematic stuff in there. But I kind of miss just like, this is what I got for the government. I'm going to protect my kids and my women, and I'm going to promote their autonomy. Women are contributors to the household, and they contribute just as much as men. They have the ability, they have their own will, and I believe in their abilities to forge their own futures. Also, what's an immigrant? That's my neighbor. There's no such thing as an immigrant. That's my neighbor. That's how it is in the Wild West. That's my neighbor right there. Immigrant? What's an immigrant? I don't even know what that means. He's my neighbor. Immigrant? No idea what that means. So shame on you. So shame on all of you.
Halting immigrant visa appointments at U.S. embassies and consulates worldwide as consular officers undergo what the department calls in-depth training. We talked with State Department spokesperson Tommy Pigott. What is the goal of this training?
Pigott.
Make sure our consular officers have the tools and
Quiet, Pigott. There we go. That maybe Donald Trump thought he was talking to Pigott. Quiet, Pigott.
resources necessary to properly adjudicate these visa cases. Are they actually going to abide by the terms of the visa that they're applying for?
The new move comes after a federal judge blocked an earlier, broader version of the administration's policy, which suspended visa processing for nationals from 75 countries whose citizens the administration deemed a high risk of.
So Donald Trump now says that no one will get visas from this part of the world. Looks like the white parts are still good though, right? White parts are still good. White parts. Yeah, most of the white parts are still good. Cool. So if you're white, you're good. Or China for some reason. China, you're okay. Japan, you're okay. India, still good. Looks like Thailand, Korea. You're all good. You're all good in Asia pretty much, except for southwestern, like the Indian Ocean Asians. They don't like those guys. They don't like those guys at all. Those people are poor. We don't like them. Looks like South Africa is still okay. Looks like we're pretty okay with all the white countries. We're all right.
On public assistance. In response to that ban, the National Immigration Law Center released a statement maintaining this unlawful and racist ban caused immeasurable harm, cruelly keeping families and loved ones apart.
What the Trump administration has done from the beginning is say, we are going to put the American people first.
Earlier this week, the State Department announced...
Well, the Trump administration has said from the beginning, we are going to punish families. We hate families. We're going to break them up. We don't believe in the family structure. We hate family.
Preparing to revoke B-1 business and B-2 tourist visas from foreign nationals who entered the U.S. as temporary visitors, stayed, then later sought asylum. Those visas require applicants to show they intend to return home. As many as 200,000 people could be impacted.
If that person has applied for that temporary visa with the intent to apply for asylum and stay in this country permanently, they have misrepresented themselves to the consular officer. They have committed fraud. And so this is making sure that we are cracking down on fraud in our visa system.
These moves come on top of the more than 175,000 visas the administration says
Fraud.
already revoked.
Fraud. Everyone, Donald Trump, people always like to talk about fraud until you start talking about, hey, remember that time when Donald Trump was convicted of 34 felony counts of fraud? That's different. That's different though. I thought you guys had a zero tolerance for fraud, except when it comes to Donald Trump. Then we're cool with fraud.
I think for a lot of us who've been watching politics over the last 10 years, right before that, there's always this question of like, how or why are people so angry at all of it? And I think it's because too often when you hear about politics, you hear politics covered as sports, right? Like Hassan Piker is a streamer in California. You would think if you turn on any media that this whole campaign is about a streamer in California.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what this campaign has ever been about. This campaign has always been about the ability to afford your groceries in Michigan.
Man, Abdul El Sayed has made Hassan Piker the most famous person in America. Hassan Piker is going to run for fucking president now because of Abdul El Sayed. Somehow Abdul El Sayed has made, I guarantee you, Hassan Piker is making more money than he's ever made his entire life because of this. Boom.
The ability to send your kid to a good school in Michigan. The ability to see a doctor in Michigan. Those are the questions I'm interested in answering and asking. So that's what we've been doing across this campaign. And so, I'm less interested in going to the sort of like tabloid version of our politics where we cover this as like who's in, who's out, who's up, who's down, who's talking to who. And I'm a lot more interested in talking to the people in the state who had a bum deal because of Donald Trump.
Hassan Piker wasn't born here? Oh, let's find out. I think he was. No? Where was Hassan Piker born? Yeah, he's from New Jersey. He's born in New Brunswick, Jersey. His parents are Turkish. But we already knew that, the Young Turks, right? His cousin is that Uyghur guy. What's his name? Janky Uyghur? What's his name? Jank? Do you call it Jank or Jank? Chunk? Chunk loves sloth. Sloth love Chunk. I think his name is Chunk Uyghur. I don't like that guy. I don't like the Young Turk, but that's his cousin. They're famous streamers. You have Chunk and Hassan, and they're related. They're, I think, cousins or uncle, nephew. I forget how they're related. But, yeah, they're Turks, but they're Americans. I think Chank is born here, too. I'm not going to look it up because I don't like that guy. I don't really want to know much more about him. I don't like him. But, hey, I'm personally not a fan of Hassan. I feel like Hassan is full of shit. So, I don't know. I find a lot about him very inauthentic. And I think hypocritical. But look, if you're out there and you like Hassan Piker, more power to you. You know, I don't want to talk shit on your favorite streamer. He's just not my cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a little, just a whole thing, but I think he's a little, I think it's a little cultish, but whatever, dude. It's just not my, it's his uncle. Chank and Jank, Jank, and it's his uncle, and Chank sucks ass. Yeah, I don't like Chank. It's Uncle Nephew. Everyone's telling me it's Uncle Nephew. You don't watch enough of him, Sky. Who's Hassan Piker? I don't watch enough of him. Okay, that's probably true. I don't watch enough of him. If you like him, you like him. I'm not talking shit on you, okay? If you like Hassan Piker, great. A lot of the stuff he says, I agree with. A lot of the stuff he says, I find to be very hypocritical. A lot of the stuff I see, I find to be a little kind of underinformed and stupid too. But look, man, I watch clips of long streams, and if you clipped some of my streams, I'll say stupid stuff or misspeak as well. So, look, we're colleagues in a way, aren't we? I mean, in a way, Hassan Piker and I are both just streamers trying to spread a pro-democracy message, a pro-critical thinking message. We're trying to get people to talk about politics and be involved in politics and maybe a revolution. So Hassan Piker and I have a lot in common. Okay? Hello, he's not underinformed. Did you see the thing he said about, parallelish, don't get me started, man. If you're for liberation and all about, communism and all this stuff, and you're all about anti-exploitation, and you're still defending owning and exploiting and enslaving animals, I feel like you're underinformed. I think you're also a hypocrite. But hey, we've already gone over this. Hassan Piker, he could be your favorite brand, and that's okay, man. I ain't gonna hate you. He's better than if you love I know Dennis Herrera. Dennis Herrera is such a dumb piece of shit. It's painful. Or, who's really painful to watch is, God damn it, I met him. What's his name? Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro. He's painful to watch. I'd rather have you be a fan of Hassan Piker than Ben Shapiro, okay? That's all.
Politics that Mike Rogers has been the epitome of for a very long time.
Yeah, the breaking news, these devastating flash floods in Nepal near the Chinese border. As of now, we are told at least 31 people are dead, but that number is certain to rise.
Man, I've had friends in Nepal. Man, they're saying 1,000 people are missing. 50 Americans are dead. I don't know if you guys have seen, there's an amazing documentary on HBO. I'm trying to get people to watch it. It's probably going to be taken off. It's not on the main screen because it's kind of critical of governments. It's called The Welcome Table, and it's about how in the next 20 years, 25% of human beings will have lost a home due to climate change. That is what's happening in Nepal. This is climate change. Donald Trump thinks that climate change isn't real. Let's just do a quick poll, huh? We already did. 62% of you realize that America is not what it used to be 2 years ago. Okay, so let's start a poll. Is climate change real? Let's just say real. Donald Trump says it's a hoax. So is climate change, let's say hold on. Human caused climate change real? Now, it clearly is, but I want to see how many morons are still watching the show today. How many people are stupid today? Here we are, massive flash flood in Nepal. These types of things are was predicted by scientists who say that we are causing the world to change, climactically. So here we are. Climate change is causing thousands of people to die and they're missing. In the very least, they're losing their homes. The thing is, people are like, well, the death toll is pretty high. How many people do you think will not have a home? How many people, when a disaster like this happens, famine and disease follow, and all of a sudden we'll have another vaccine issue. We'll have a huge vaccine issue. So we'll have a bunch of people who are displaced, who become refugees and asylum seekers all over the world. We'll have people, and there's a bunch of morons here, like, you go to your first democratic country if you want asylum. A lot of these people have cousins and shit that live here, so they'll want to come here. We will have asylum seekers because of this. And Donald Trump will say, no, go back and die. Because that's the country we are today. We're just like we were in the beginning of World War II. This is 1930s America all of a sudden, where we turn back asylum seekers. It's really quite embarrassing. But here, all these people will die. Many people will be displaced. So many people will be homeless. And in the aftermath, there will be disease. It'll be polio or measles or could be bubonic plague for all I know. There will be a disease that comes out because of this. And those diseases will make their way to our shore because we won't do anything about it. Maybe the Chinese will do something about it since they're on the border. Unlikely.
Hundreds of people, we are told, are missing, many likely tourists. There is this horrifying new video which illustrates why there is so much concern, why we can say with near certainty this death toll will go up. You just see this wall of water engulfing a town there. The power, the force of that water just carrying so many of the buildings away, sweeping them off their foundations. We saw other images of
that was a train station.
Buses just being tossed around like toy cars. Truly, truly devastating. We've been working to get new information. There are other images coming in as well. Let's get right to CNN's Gage Golding for the latest on what you are seeing and learning about this.
I think you kind of hit the nail right on the head there. That video just kind of grossly underestimates the number of fatalities that we're seeing right now. About 31 is the official count. And you look at this, let's walk through this video. You see how tall that building is, and you see how small those people are. That building has to be, 5-6 stories tall, and the water flows over it like it's a small rock dam in a creek, if you will. It's hard to imagine.
Hundreds missing. Now the missing is up to 1,000. It says 31 dead, but I read this morning that 50 Americans have been declared dead because they happen to be there. It's crazy, right? And this is something that people have been talking about for the last 25 years. Longer. Since I don't know, in the 80s we were talking about stuff like this coming down. In the 80s they were telling us this is going to happen. And did we do anything about it? No. Because Republicans back then said it was a hoax. And even today, the MAGAs, the Nazi Party of America, is saying it's just a hoax. But hey, who are you going to believe, me or your own eyes?
I was in the Texas Hill Country for the floods there last year, and I remember looking up into these trees and seeing just, wow, the amount of water, this dwarfs that. And not to compare flood to flood, but the amount of water is hard to truly understand. And the numbers, again, they are going to change and unfortunately dramatically increase. But the number of people killed here, 31, there are hundreds missing, including around 400 people. That's according to the Nepal Tourism Board, from 7 different nations, including the United States, the UK, South Africa.
All those people are dead. Can you imagine?
India, Australia, Netherlands. This is a very touristy town. You can see those tour buses there being pushed away like toy cars. But there's one video I really want to show, and I want you to listen to it because
those are all homes. All those people are homeless.
It truly encapsulates what happened in those moments. And I want you to notice that it's in this video, it's nice out. You can see it's sunny. It seems like a beautiful day. And then all of a sudden, this wall of water comes out of nowhere. Please watch this.
Oh my God. Hit the gas. Oh my God.
I mean, the shrieks in their voice, you can only imagine what was going through their mind there. What you see in the beginning of the video is people just standing around, maybe hearing the water rushing down, but they weren't panicking in that moment yet. And then you saw the panic.
It's 30 recorded dead last night. It's gone up. These are just the original pictures. I bookmarked this one because the images of the video. Not everyone's showing the videos. They're blurring stuff out, or they're not airing it. So but the death toll's gone way up. It's gotten weird.
Panic set in. You saw it.
It's gotten really, really hot. Look at this. 30. There's 30 people right there who died right there in front of us.
Running. You saw what I could only imagine in the front of that bus was somebody driving as fast as they could to get to higher ground. We don't know the outcome of that video, but we do know some details like this, including around 60 workers, including almost a dozen from South Korea working on a hydro power plant there, a 20 megawatt plant that they were working on. They are still unaccounted for at this point. So this is all up and down this river gorge here. And you might be wondering, how does something like this happen? I mentioned that it seemed like a beautiful sun shining day. And from the video, it truly does. It doesn't look like it was storming or anything like that. From what we have right now is it sounds like there was an earthquake registering about a 4.4 magnitude according to the USGS that triggered a landslide that lodged into a river, partially blocked it in Shub.
Yeah, a glacial wall broke off. And it just it's crazy. There's a movie called Digger, which is it's kind of about that, how a glacial piece falls off with Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is going to be in this new movie. I can't wait for it. It looks crazy.
What can only be described as a wall of water down the river into these villages. And as you can see there, it's pretty much a gorge. There's nowhere for this water to go except taking everything with it. This is a situation that we're going to continue to follow as these numbers continue to come in. Current death toll 31 with hundreds missing. But I imagine the next time we talk, we'll have some updated information. Unfortunately, probably not some great information there.
No, again, you showed while you were talking, we saw those buses being swept away. They're their parking garage. This is an aerial shot right here, just pointing out. You can see where the floods came in, way overflowing the banks there. I don't know if there were other buildings there that simply got swept away, but you can see how many buildings the water just simply completely passed through as it swamped that village. Obviously, the video of that school bus, those kids shrieking, is terrifying. The one hopeful thing there is that they seem to have made it through, right? I mean, the video made it through, and the water did not reach those kids, but it is horrifying to hear their shrieks there. Gage, we're going to let you dig for more video and see if you can reach people on the ground there. Thank you so much for sharing your reporting on this.
I want to bring in our meteorologist now, Derek Van Dam, and you'll have been listening to our guest there explaining what he believes may have happened, and it's pretty frightening stuff when you consider what we have just seen. I mean,
this is one of my favorite things. People like this imbecile right here. Global warming, whatever, can't stop it. Wonder how many civilization killer climate change has happened. You're so stupid, dude. We could stop it, except morons like you and the people you support have kept us from stopping it. We could have prevented this. We could have avoided this. All of these lives that have been lost could have been prevented. But instead, Donald Trump, his friends, he backed out of the Paris Accord, which is like the bare minimum. The Paris Agreement, saying we're going to try to lower our greenhouse gas emissions. No, he backed out of that.
It was a bad deal. It is such a bad deal. Solving climate change, a bad deal. We need more coal. More coal. Coal is so beautiful. I love coal. It's the best. I just love coal. I just love it. It's so good. It's so good. More coal is better.
Just such an embarrassment.
The midterms are now less than 3 months away, and there are some new signs that President Trump might be in panic mode as voter anger intensifies.
Yeah.
There's new polling that shows that the president is underwater on a number of key issues, for example, prices and inflation, the economy. He's even losing steam on immigration and border security, which are typically signature pieces of his agenda. But Trump says that this is not his fault.
Not my fault.
I inherited a mess in so many ways. The border, which I solved very quickly. I inherited so many different problems that this was a bad administration.
It's all somebody else's fault. It's all somebody else's fault, not me. I didn't do nothing wrong. I got an A+.
This was an incompetent administration. But I inherited high prices. And then from the first day, they started using the word affordability. They looked at me. Affordability, it was a new word. Nobody ever heard the word.
No one ever heard the word affordability,
it's not
guys.
Just his predecessor. The
Brand
president is
new
once
word.
again throwing shade at the very party that he leads. Today, Trump shared a rant against Republicans from a conservative influencer who wrote, "I don't think the Republicans, the GOP, fully grasp how badly they're effing up right now." It continues with a warning that the party might be sleepwalking toward a midterm reckoning.
Yeah.
But Trump might have just found a winning solution to this, and that is to turn the spotlight right back on himself. Because just a minute later, he reposted a list of things that he considers to be his biggest accomplishments.
Remember when Biden tried to do that? Look at all the great things we've done for you, says Biden. Trust us. The economy's actually really good. Trust us. Wink, wink. Remember that? Did it work? Did that work?
Caroline, the Atlantic is reporting that Trump's advisors told him that the poor polling reflects the fact that the voting public still doesn't know many of his accomplishments. So he suggested that the ad makers mine his own on-camera statements as building blocks, and he says, go look at the clips.
Look, this is how stupid you are. Look, Google it. Many scientists say that climate change isn't real. Well, then you're an imbecile. Again, you're too stupid to breathe. Hold your breath. Hold your breath as long as you can. Keep doing that. Take some, you need to drink some bleach and clean out all of the stupid. Listen, honey, if 100 scientists say humans look like they're causing climate change, looks like the evidence is in, and 3 people out of those hundreds are like, nope, we just got paid by the oil industry to say otherwise, and we disagree. And you're like, I'll go with those 3 people. Stupid.
Make the ads. Is that the right strategy here?
Well, the White House definitely needs to get new talking points. You know, when the answer to everything is Iran can't have a nuclear weapon and short-term pain for long-term gain, people aren't believing the talking points anymore. So you're going to have to get new material. But then second to that, the administration does need to do a better job of getting the accomplishments out there. And there are many. There's Trump accounts. There's record low fentanyl deaths. There's been 0 border crossings the last 15.
Trump accounts had nothing to do with Donald Trump. He just calls them Trump accounts, but they aren't Trump accounts. They're Dell accounts. They should be called Dell accounts.
Months under Biden, it was 5,000 a day in the El Paso sector. They have to know that they're up against a biased media. I mean, respectfully, this network covered Natalie Harp all last week. I didn't hear any word about the young mother in Virginia who was killed by an illegal immigrant from El Salvador. Thank you for having me on so that I can tell people.
Oh yeah, someone died from someone got killed by an El Salvadorian. That's the same level as Natalie Harp, totally.
About that, but the admin has to realize, yes, they're up against a biased media, so use the other tools at your disposal that we used very successfully in 2024. Go talk to the podcast audience. Use social media.
It's the media's fault, everybody. It's the media's fault that Donald Trump is in the shitter. It's obviously the media. It's the media.
It's unfair. I'm treated so unfairly. The media is so mean to me. Oh my gosh, they're so mean. I tried to revoke their FCC licenses, and it was all their fault. It was just, I got Colbert canceled. How about that? That's part of my accomplishment.
Maybe you should put that on his list of accomplishments. He has eliminated the freedom of speech in America.
I'm a big believer that if you don't go talk to people, they will assume the worst about you. It's why I appreciate coming on here. And when we were talking to people, we were going up in the polls.
What about the things that he's actually doing? Because there are also things he's still doing right now that are not helping. I mean, there's the tariffs. The whole thing that he did with beef last week, which infuriated his own base. I mean, he's got some problems that are actually within his control, not just talking points, but things he can actually do.
Yeah, the talking points aren't the problem. This presidency up until this point has been a failure. He was elected because of things like affordability, although he doesn't believe that word existed prior to him being elected this go around.
There's never been such a thing as
high, drug prices are still high, housing prices are still high, grocery prices are still high. We're now at month 6 in a war in Iran that he said he was going to bomb his way out of. People aren't seeing an end result of that, so gas prices are going up, fertilizers going up. So by every metric, this White House has been a failure. But what he did last week was he went on a 30-minute rant showing people the improvements he was making to the White House with gold ornaments in Washington, D.C. He's a big-time developer, so that's what he's spending his time and energy on. We have $1 billion ballroom we're spending money on that the taxpayers are footing the bill on. And so, look, I understand that sometimes, you have a bad message or you have a bad messenger, but there also is a...
2 more years? You think Donald Trump's going to live 2 more years? Let's put that in that's the next poll. Hold on. That's much more fun than 90% agree that... climate change is real. Thank you so much. 88% of you have a brain. Thank you so much. 88% of you have a brain. Thank you very much. Let's do a new poll. Will DJT live to see 2029? That's a long time. I don't think he's going to live to see 2027, but here we go. 2029 is the new over-under, everybody. You taking the over or the under? I'm taking the under big time. I'm taking the under. No way he's going to make it. No way he's going to make it. Report. Oh, crybaby. Report me. Report me, honey pie. Report me. Report me. Do it, David. You don't think I'm already on a list, honey pie? Jesus. David, I'm going to report you. I'm telling, Mommy. I'm telling. Oh. He said that the 80-year-old president might not make it to 83. My favorite politician, he's going to live forever. How dare you say that my favorite politician will die before he's 84? How dare you?
point in time. You're about to see candidates begin to do this right now. The president's a failure.
Oh, mommy, I'm going to tell. When did this country become a country of hall monitors? Mommy, there's somebody smoking in the bathroom. Somebody's smoking out behind the bleachers, Mommy. It's such an embarrassment to be an American now. We've all turned into these fucking simps. We all work for the cops now all of a sudden. We all work for the CIA and the FBI. All of us. Make sure you call somebody and tell them, oh my God, he said my favorite politician's not going to make it to 83.
He didn't run. And that's what Republicans are starting to do around the country.
But would you describe
Jesus
a border
Christ.
where there's been 0 border crossings for 15 months as a failure? Because I don't define that as a failure. I have my criticisms, but I don't define that.
Well, I mean, I would.
Is that a failure?
How about this? No, that's
Is
not
it
a failure. And
So
the failure actually was Democrats. The failure actually was Democrats when we were running for re-election, acting as if the border and crime was not a real issue. When people, particularly in Texas and other places, because we were naive and we
this
actually.
has been a success.
But the reason that the president was elected was because people were having issues with their pocketbook.
Groceries.
And so
Yes.
let me tell you what the
He
failure
didn't
is.
like 10
Let me tell
million
you what
people coming into their
the failure is.
country.
Well,
They're glad that border is
so
closed.
let me outline the failures of immigration just briefly. The failures of immigration are when we see ICE ripping parents away from children, when we have people, Americans, dead in the street.
That's what I'm talking about with the bias media. Because you're not going to talk about the young mom killed in Virginia.
But I'm also telling you that the failures.
There was someone killed in Virginia. Somebody died in Virginia, though. Somebody died in Virginia.
I'm telling you that the failures are. Are you going to articulate?
Are you going to?
First of all, everybody around the table, including Democrats, Barack Obama actually did it well. Everybody says that if you're illegal in this country, you commit a crime. You should be deported. Not everybody says that.
That's not true. My member of Congress is against all deportation.
One second, really quickly, because I want to go back to the failures. I want to go back to the failures because you did not articulate or understand or comprehend the failures of this administration. The reason he got elected, the reason he got elected is because prices are high.
Not just that, it was border security too.
Listen,
prices. Donald Trump himself said,
I got elected because of a thing I just heard about called groceries. Never heard about groceries, never been to a grocery store, never had to go, never got a driver's license. Donald Trump has never had a driver's license or gone shopping at a supermarket. You realize that. You think he's like a normal guy. He's never had a driver's license because he's always had someone to drive him around. That's Donald Trump for you. You never heard about groceries. I got elected on something called groceries.
Remember when he said that?
I got elected off of a new thing called groceries.
It's fucking crazy.
How about this? Has he done anything about affordability? The answer is no.
Hold on a second. Let me just make this point because I think it's important to just note that, yeah, the president closed the border. And he does get some credit for that, although it's interesting to see that he's still underwater even on the border security issue. And it could just be because it's not as
CNN. He closed the border. What does that mean? He made asylum seeking illegal somehow. That's not closing a border. That's violating our agreement with the UN.
It's high on Americans' list.
It's an abridging of human rights.
Anymore. Sometimes you're a victim. Sometimes you're a victim of your success. But the number one issue for Americans is cost of living. He is underwater by 48 points on that issue. Jobs in the economy, underwater, 27 points. Immigration. So that's probably capturing some of what Bakari's talking about, how it's being managed in.
Yeah, it really is an embarrassment because CNN is just another liberal. I mean, CNN is just another liberal cuck channel being like, we need to hear out the Nazis. This is what I love about this show is that Abby, I forget her last name, Abby something, Abby Normal. It was Abby Normal. Abby Normal over here. She loves listening to the Nazis. Let's have a round table with the Nazis. That's what they should call this. CNN Nazi night. CNN Nazi round table. Let's let the liberals talk about it. That's Abby sucks. I mean, CNN is center right. Totally. Yeah. CNN's owned by the Ellisons right now. I mean, we'll see what happens. But I mean, they gutted CBS and they're working on CNN. Maybe when Ted Turner was ownership, was the boss, maybe back then they were a little bit of a lefty organization, but still they were always just limp-wristed liberals. Let's hear the Nazis out. They're a marginalized class.
The United States. He's underwater by 15 points. Crime and public safety underwater by 13 points. So there's clear evidence here that Americans think he is not handling
Philip, not Phillips. Let's see that. Trump's net approval on key issues. Prices, -48. Healthcare, -30. Foreign policy, -27. Education, -20. Border security, -5. He's doing well on border. He's only -5. Immigration, -15. Holy shit. -27. He's like, so double digits on everything except for border security. Way to go. Way to go. Because people will perpetuate this lie of he closed the border. Yes. The Nazis elected a Nazi in Maine for They did? Which Nazi was elected in Maine? Who are you talking about? Which Nazi in Maine?
Anything.
But I think his point, and part of it is getting...
We are Charlie Kirk. You know, I learned how to play that song on guitar. I can't wait. I play like a folksy version of that song. I can't wait to play it for you.
Front of people and talking about his successes. So, for example, if crime, he's underwater, we have record low crime rates right now, violent crime rates. That has gone down. If he's in
Democratic cities also.
Yes, as a direct result of policies that the Democrats introduced and then had to walk back, like defunding the police.
That's absolutely
100%.
I'm saying the crime is down in Democratic cities.
I will. I'm definitely going to play it live. I do a guitar thing on when I'm not doing politics. I like to play guitar and just jam a little bit and play some songs for people. And I learned that song. I was playing it at like midnight last night. But I didn't go live, but I will play it live. I promise you. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll play it live for you.
Down across the country at the same time.
Dude, look at it. It's Geraldo. Shit. How old is Geraldo, man? He's got to be old as shit. How old is Geraldo Rivera? He's got to be 80-something. 83! Oh, my God. 83. He's 3 years older than Donald Trump. Remember when he was on The Apprentice with Donald Trump? He's great friends with Donald Trump. He loves Donald. He doesn't love Donald Trump as much as he used to. But look at Geraldo. They still got his old bones out there. 83, man. I hope I'm doing as great as Geraldo when I'm 83. Damn, I hope actually not to be alive at 83. I'll be dead at 83. Geraldo Rivera. Let's let Geraldo Rivera, let's hear what he's got to say about the State of the Union. Woo! Trump's a-hole is jealous of the shit that flows from his mouth. Jenna X-Ray Dragon, thank you so much for supporting the channel. You're a wonderful human being. I appreciate you. You're beautiful. I love you. Thank you, Jenna X-Ray Dragon. You're great. Thank you. Yeah. I think though, his asshole is that maybe why he has the diaper. He can like collect the shit. He's walking around with a doo-doo diaper. I wonder how long they keep the diaper going. Like, when do you change Donald Trump's diaper? Is it like right after the poopy poop, or do you let it collect a little bit? Like for me, if I had to change the president's diaper, I'd wait for a couple poops. You know, let him poop a couple times, because you don't want to have to change his diaper and there's just this much poop, right? You want to wait till there's a lot, so you don't have to change the diaper as frequently, right? Do you wait until it starts leaking down his leg? When do you change the diaper? When do you do it? Well, Sky, depends. Oh, quick, because of skin. It irritates his skin, you think? Even with those giant trousers? I bet like it kind of like, I don't know. I think MAGA likes those old man nuts marinating in the juices of his diaper. And doesn't the diaper like absorb? I'm not sure. I've never had a child. I don't know how. Does the diaper absorb the irritation, kind of the irritants from the poop? Or you put a lot of baby powder down there maybe. I don't know how it works. You think you do it right away? Ask Natalie. She's definitely changed his diaper 100%. 100%. It's so sad. It's so sad. I hope I die before I'm that old. Do you think that Geraldo Rivera wears a diaper? I don't know. Like, I only want to make it to 83 if I don't have to wear diapers. I don't want to have to do it. I didn't like doing it the first time around. I don't want to do it the second time. My mom always told me I hated diapers, that I hated them. As soon as I was like 3 years old, as soon as I can talk, I was like, don't put those fucking diapers on me, bitch. No, I didn't say that. But I did. I was very upset if anyone tried to bring a diaper near me as soon as I could talk, apparently.
That we actually have a president who's now focused on that issue, and it's tied directly to immigration
as well.
You're telling me
Donald Trump is the reason that crime in Baltimore and Little Rock
when you
is
deport violent criminals from your country, the violent crime rate goes down. That is how it works. Yes.
Did crime go up?
That is exactly
crime go up because of Democrats?
No.
Okay, so crime going up in Democrat cities is not a direct result.
Do you know why crime?
Crime going up in Democracy. Crime is not going up. The FBI said that crime is going down.
You know why crime is going down?
I absolutely do know why crime is going down.
Crime is going down.
We're actually enforcing law.
Crime is going down in places like Gary, Indiana, because Eddie Melton, the mayor there, or Baltimore because of the mayor there, and Brandon Scott, or Randall Wolfen, or Andre Dickens. Crime is going because they're taking a holistic approach to actually funding things like midnight basketball, after-school programs. They're actually pouring money into primary school education.
Funded before?
No, they weren't. Not to this rate. So that's why you have 50.
What happens when you defund police?
So
Does that lead to more crime?
I think that this conversation.
That's exactly right. You take money and you put it into programs so that kids have something to do instead of breaking into your house, and all of a sudden crime goes down. It's amazing how that works. People have enough money for groceries and they don't commit crimes. It's wild how that works. People have enough money to get medicine for their children, and all of a sudden they don't commit crimes. Poverty causes crime. Poverty causes crime. Poverty causes crime. Fight poverty, you're fighting crime. That's it. You're an idiot if you think that putting more police out in the streets somehow brings crime down. That is not. We've had police since slavery, and crime is unaffected. Crime actually goes up the more police we have, oddly, because of the way we count crime in America. We count arrests. So you put more police in the streets, you get more arrests. So all of a sudden it looks like there's actually more crime instead of less. People are not deterred by the fact that there are more police. If you're broke and you ain't got shit and your kid's got asthma and you can't afford an inhaler, you are going to stick a gun into someone's face for the money to buy that inhaler because your kid's going to die. That's how it works. Doesn't matter how many cops you got. I would do it. I would definitely rob somebody to get the money if I don't have it for my child who is dying of asthma. Definitely. 100% I would. I would rob, steal, beg. I would do everything I could. So, you're lucky I don't have kids, America, because I'd be on the streets committing crimes. I'd be robbing some I'd be robbing them armored trucks. I'd be putting grenades in armored trucks and robbing armor. I think that's the best crime, right? You only got to kill 2 people and you get a ton of money. That seems like the best way. You just got to know when their last stop is. That's all your work you got to do. You guys got to know when their last stop is or their first stop, depending on if they're delivering or picking up money. You just got to watch them. I think that's the best one. I think that's the best crime. Don't you think that's the best crime? Armored trucks.
Warning from Bill Gates about artificial intelligence. The Microsoft co-founder is sounding the alarm in a new essay he's put out, arguing that the AI industry is not admitting the real risk.
What am I talking about? I think it's the best crime is armored trucks. At least one, the people driving the armored trucks, they got a fighting chance. I mean, they usually got guns. 2, it's a big payoff for like one crime. They got lots of money. It's better than, trying to rob a liquor store. Robbing a liquor store is dangerous, man. If you're going to take that much danger on your hands, you might as well do a armored truck. I don't know why people don't just go after armored truck. Every armored truck should be too many movies. Too many movies. Jack would get caught day one. Maybe. I don't think so. I don't know if I'd be caught day one. Maybe. I think I would prepare. I don't know. I think most criminals are desperate and or stupid. Just like Donald Trump is desperate and stupid, so he gets caught doing all of his crimes. He's always getting caught doing the crime. Over and over again, he gets caught. So it's usually criminals are desperate or stupid because either they're too dumb to make money legitimately or they're too desperate and they need money right now, and it's a timing issue because of the drama sphere and all that.
Technology, and he says it should be, quote, the world's top priority to deal with those risks. He writes, the turbulent AI era is here. The choices we make now are critical. He says AI will either be the greatest equalizer ever invented
Mark
or the
Lewis,
worst source of
you're the stupid kid. You're it. You're too stupid to even make a profile picture. You're the stupid kid who's watching this. Retard.
Justice. Gates, since the world is not preparing for what's to come, I spoke to Gates earlier in an exclusive TV interview. Bill, you said that there's no plan to ease the entry into the AI era and that we underestimate the impact of AI. In what way?
Finally, someone who gets it. Like a bank's pretty good, but you got to get away. An armored truck is usually just parked at a Burger King or something. You know what I mean? Like armored trucks are parked outside of and usually they're not even armored. A lot of those Brinks trucks, they're not even armored. They're just an unmarked van. You just got to figure out which one's got the money in it. And I think you could do that with just a little bit of homework. Banks, you got all these people. You got to deal with like all the customers, at least 3 or 4 people that work there, maybe more. You got to worry about a vault and the cops' time and all that. An armored truck, there's only 2 people. And one's usually inside. If you wait for the guy to go inside and then you do it quickly, you might be able to, you and a friend could really take it out. I don't know. I feel like banks are a bad idea.
For the last year, these AIs have gotten dramatic.
Plus, if something goes wrong when you're in the bank, you're in the bank. If something goes wrong with the armored truck, you're outside. You might make good an escape. You might get away if some hero, some John Q. Law or anybody else starts just showing up. You could just zoom on out of there. Be on a motorcycle or something. Get out of there fast.
Dramatically more powerful, even faster than I expected. And they're now capable of causing cyber attack risk.
Yeah, they have guns. They got a fighting chance. I feel like it's a sporting chance, but also it's usually one stays in the truck and the other one goes into the building. So while he's in the building, it takes some time. You got to do a little homework, know how long it takes him. On the longer stop, that's when you do it. I think that this is a sound investment.
Bioterrorism risk, psychosocial risk. And I have to say, I'm kind of shocked that the exact criteria that we review these models with and the actions we take to minimize the harms are really completely missing. And the broad dialogue, we get all of society talking about the trade-offs here, that's just not taking place. And so, we've got to minimize these harms through careful review and criteria, and we have to accelerate the good stuff, or else, we could have a complete backlash that AI would suffer from.
I talked to Dario Amodei last May. He was estimating 50% of all entry-level white-collar jobs could be eliminated in the next 1 to 5 years, 10 to 20% unemployment possibly in the next 5 years. You write about what you think are the 3 big risks that come with the transition to AI. Can you just go through them?
Yeah, so there's a big risk of people with ill intent, either defrauding people, cyber attacks, or in the extreme case, bioterrorism. And so, these negative uses, we need to monitor things like creating a dangerous virus to see if that's happening. Another problem will be the job market change, which has not happened yet, but because the AIs are getting so reliable now, they can be used for a variety of well-defined jobs. And that would be a tough thing to adjust to. And finally, just the psychosocial effect that a kid might have all their friends being AIs and not be pushed to deal with real humans and all the learnings and joy you get by being engaged socially. And so every one of those things, I'm very concerned, and I want to slow down or eliminate those negative effects.
Well, is that
fucking Bill Gates? Bill Gates said we should be worried about AI, everybody, because it messes with us socially. It's going to take all our jobs, and it's going to be used to create a super virus to kill us all. Billy, aren't you kind of to blame for most of this, Billy?
Possible. On the job loss, the counter argument that some people make is, look, at every technological change, there's been job losses. With the electric light bulb, lamp lighters lost their jobs. You, in this essay, make the argument that a lot of past technological changes, the job losses have taken place over a longer period of time, even several generations in some cases. These job losses will come much quicker and all at once.
Yes, it's across every sector of the economy, initially with white collar, but then as the humanoid robots come along, blue collar as well, you will have, for the first time, the equivalent of human cognition. So that past history misleads people, because there we were richer, and so jobs like designing rides at Disneyland, having more psychiatrists, we were richer enough to create those additional jobs. Here, as the machine gets better than human for well-defined jobs and works 24 hours a day, it's going to be a bigger deal. And so the bar for somebody coming along and saying this time is different is very high. But I'm staking my reputation completely on the fact that in terms of the impact on the job market, this is very different than any technology that I've been involved in or that has come across in human history.
Well, I guess that means that we should be investing in AI, since they're the ones going to make all our money for us. Like, they're the ones who's going to get all the money. If they're the ones doing all the work, then the AI company is going to get all of the wages, right? All the wages that are now currently going to human beings are now going to go like the big 4 AI companies and NVIDIA. I guess invest in AI, everybody. I changed my mind. I said that the AI might be a bubble that was going to burst and we're all going to lose our shirts, but maybe I think maybe the truth is the other way is that the 4 companies like DeepSeek, ChatGPT, Anthropic, Claude, and what's the other one? I forget the other one. They're the ones that are going to be doing the work, and so all of the jobs that you used to have that used to go to American human beings will now be going, those wages will now be sucked up by those 4 big companies, and they're the ones that are going to hold all the wealth. So better get your piece. You better buy your piece right now. Invest in AI. Because that's the only way you'll have any money come the humanoid AI bots that your friend Bill Gates is talking about.
How concerned are you about, and do you think society has kind of considered enough what the impact of just people not having, or machines or computers being able to do jobs much better than humans can? I mean, like, what happens to pride in work or human initiative? Or, I mean, you write about what happens to kids and critical thinking. That seems really alarming to me.
Yes. The AIs can do unbelievable good, including if you want to learn more,
Buy Melania coin, everybody. That's the only way you're going to make it through this AI revolution.
have an aid to help make better decisions, analyze data. I'm, a very excited user. But it is such a dramatic change that I really expected this last year, as we crossed the threshold of danger, that society would get involved in this dialogue. Instead, right now, you have people in the industry sort of disagreeing with each other, but to get the right solutions politically, to bring the right expertise to bear.
If 300 million, you think 300 million people have money to invest? You're dreaming, Mark Lewis. What world are you living in? You think 300 million Americans have the money to invest? Are you crazy? Most people cannot invest. I mean, most people, they barely have 401ks. What percentage of Americans have liquid assets enough to invest in the stock market? 62% of American adults own stock. Most of this is mutual funds and 401ks. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. 62% of adults hold stocks, according to data from Gallup. Most of this is 401ks and retirement funds. Oopsie daisy. Not direct shares. Ownership jumps to 87% for households earning over $100,000. $100,000 or more, then you have 87% of the people who make over $100,000 a year. They own stock. Wealth concentration. While a majority participate, wealth is heavily skewed. The top 10% of Americans own the vast majority of the total stock market. 10% of Americans own the vast majority of the total stock market value. Let's see if I can get a number. If I eliminate the 401k and retirement funds, does that number of U.S. adults holding stocks change? Let's see if I can get a number. Yeah, it drops dramatically. Only 37% of US adults, if you take out 401ks, only 37% of Americans hold stocks, bonds, ETFs, or mutual funds. 10% of stockholders own 10% own vast majority. 21% of the population interacts with the stock market only through auto-enroll employer workplace retirement plans. Jesus Christ. Only 15% of families directly own individual company stocks. There you go. For example, upper income households are roughly 5 times more likely to hold a standard taxable brokerage account than lower income households. Bro. Here you go. 58% total stock ownership, 37% taxable brokerage accounts. Sorry, you're not going to make it. 300 million people do not have it. Why can't we reverse neoliberalism and return to Keynesian economics? Why can't we? Because the people in charge like neoliberalism. Neoliberalism is just corporatism. It's just fascism. Fascism wins. Fascism wins. They have the power. Pension care. Thank you so much, by the way. Icy Saracian, thank you so much. I appreciate you so friggin' much. Thank you very much, baby doll. I appreciate you. Please support the channel. Sky City Rebels are the best, but thank you so much for anyone who supports the channel. Yeah, thank you very much for being here.
Make it democratically valid to move as quickly as we need to. It's got to be the academicians, it's got to be more corporate voices, and eventually, politicians in both parties listening to these concerns.
More corporate
and
voices.
Making sure we don't end up with some, sort of just pure black and white stop it all because we don't have the right reviews and thresholds and safeguards.
As a parent, it's hard to fully grasp what's going to happen in the next 5 years, let alone 15. What do you say to parents about, if you had little kids now, how would you be approaching this?
Yeah, I spent a few days with the two granddaughters I have, 3 and 1, and it just makes you think, what will education be like? I divide.
You'll be okay. Your grandkids will be okay, Billy.
The challenge here into 2 periods. We have the next 20 years where the AIs are not able to make all the food and do the manufacturing and maintain all the robots, and so you'll have, once you get to that 20-year period, you'll have deep purpose issues, but you'll have a lot of abundance. I'm more focused in this memo on how do we get through this incredibly turmoil-ridden period we'll have, where society's adjusting to this completely unprecedented set of capabilities. And I'm saying, don't think that they're going to stop and not be good at things. There's people who think, oh, they must, you're going to reach some upper bound. For the majority of jobs, that is not the case. And so the silence is what really drove me to speak out at this point, because
because there's so many people that are fucking smug as hell. People like your boy on the real-time show, Bill Maher. Bill Maher, he's always like, they can't do my job. Yet, the AI will do your job. Writers groups are shrinking because even comedy writers groups don't need 10 people anymore. They need 3. Showrunners, people who write shows like, Law and Order shows, an AI can almost write that completely. So a show writers group that used to have 10 or 15 people, now they've got 3 and an AI assistant or 3 AI assistants. It's that easy now. It's gone. God, CNN trigger alert, content warning, CNN. When all of us old timers retire and enjoy our 401k savings, who's going to take over our jobs of producing products we all need to survive? Not looking food for the bums in this country. Mark Lewis, look, man, I'm really glad that you get to retire soon and get your 401k. Good for you, buddy boy. I hope you get your Social Security too. Meanwhile, I don't know why you hate your fellow Americans and think all the other ones deserve to die. You're a selfish prick. I hope you die young.
We have to get everybody's voice in this. These are a set of democratic trade-offs that have to be made. And people think, okay, I'll block a data center. That really isn't going to slow things down. Those data centers will show up somewhere. We have to take the AI issue and it's the bads versus the goods on in a very explicit way.
One of the things you write, you said this is either going to be the greatest equalizer ever invented or the worst source of injustice. Which one do you think it is right now?
Oh, what do you think it's going to be? Worst source of injustice or greatest equalizer of all time?
Now, if you had to guess, which one is going to be?
I still believe that if we activate society broadly, both as users, as a lot of experts, what I am saying is that for all of the challenges, there would be a serious review and a criteria under which a model had to meet things like being monitorable for creating bioterrorism tools. And so I still think it's within our grasp to shape this in a net positive way. It's like when nuclear came along. Is it nuclear weapons or is it nuclear energy? This is 1,000 times bigger and has both the negative aspect and the positive code.
It's a yin and yang, says Bill. Take the good with the bad. Why don't you give up your house, Sky? I did. I sold my house and I bought Melania coin because Donald Trump and Melania, the first lady, told me to buy it. Why haven't you? Why haven't you sold everything, cash in your 401k and buy Melania coin? Why haven't you done that? I don't get it. What's your problem? Why are mad people who work their whole life for that? What do you mean work their whole life? Boomers haven't worked their whole lives. Go tell that to somebody else. No one believes the myth that you boomers worked your whole lives. Fuck you. You didn't work your whole lives. You mortgaged our futures. You boomers Mortgage the future Americans so that you could impoverish Russians. You literally took loans out in order to build a military industrial complex and bankrupt the USSR, and then just put the cost onto future generations. That's how embarrassing you are. Of course, the boomers. I hope you all die as soon as possible. I thought that COVID was going to take more of you out, the boomer flu, but no, y'all had to get vaccinated. Dang, do. All you boomers had to go get vaccinated. If Donald Trump, he did that Operation Warp Speed so all you boomers could survive. Great. Way to go, boomers. Great work. Great work mortgaging the future of America. Great work. Do you think the next global traumatic event will be an AI virus pandemic shutting down global networks? Ooh, do you mean like biological virus or a virus that just takes out our electricity and does all sorts of weird shit? See, I think Icy Saracen, I think that what will happen, it'll be a global traumatic event that separates us in ways that are unforeseeable right now, but that the communities that actually have infrastructure and have the ability to help each other out have localized networks. So you have like even something as simple as like local solar arrays so that they can stay electrified will be the ones who win, and those who are completely centralized, they won't. I'm really worried about something like that because like the conventional wisdom of investing in the stock market and the S&P 500, stuff that the boomers told us to do, and we're supposed to be doing that, right? Well, what if I take a bunch of money and I do that and I lose it all because of something like that terrifies me, you know? You do everything you're told, you do everything that's supposed to be the right way, and they still screw you. That's the big joke. That boomers told us to stay out of jail, go to college, get married, buy a house, and you do all those things, and you end up broke and enslaved. They bought their houses. Don't forget these boomers bought their houses for like $20,000 when the annual income was $20,000. You could save up for 1 year if you work really hard back when the boomers were buying houses, 1 year. And you could buy a house. And now you can't buy a house without a 30-year mortgage. They're floating the idea of 50-year mortgages now. They want to have 50-year mortgage. The 30-year mortgage is a scam. So yeah, I'm worried, bro. Do you think the next global traumatic event will be an AI virus pandemic shutting down? I think so. I don't think it'll be global. I think it'll be highly targeted. It'll take those big sprawling countries like the United States will start looking like Swiss cheese, where we'll have certain places that make it and other places are just cut off, and the United States government won't have the resources to help them. Kind of like Katrina. They didn't have the resources or the know-how or the inclination or the willpower to do anything about Katrina. So people were they were shitting on each other at the Astrodome. They were eating each other in the on top of rooftops and stuff, separated from humanity and help for days, weeks. They're still recovering. Like, that's how bad it is. Like parts of Detroit, bingo, Ganchar. I think it'll be like parts of Detroit where it'll be people are like, they'll just cut off. There's that town, that part of town doesn't have any people living in it. It's like, what do you mean? There's like 6 houses still here. Yep, too bad. We're cutting it off. No more electricity, no more cops, no more plumbing. We're not going to service that anymore. That's what it'll be. Yeah, if somebody borrowed the money and left me with the bill, yeah, I blame it on the older generation. Of course I do, you idiot. Of course I do. Of course. You've got to be a fool. It's like if you go to a restaurant and somebody eats and then leaves without paying, you blame that guy, right? That's what the boomers did. They got all the benefit of a big government. They got all the benefits of the rest of the world being on their knees after the war. And they took out loans against my generation that I have to now pay for. And you guys are like, it's your fault, though. Yeah, okay. Totally.
And welcome to Hannah.
How are boomers manipulating markets today? Look no further than Donald Trump. He's a boomer. He manipulates markets every day. In fact, he'll charge you for the insider trading if you'd like. You can pay $100,000 a month to know what Donald Trump is going to do to screw with the economy.
And tonight, a preview of coming attractions if Democrats take the reins in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C.
I'd like to propose that Los Angeles consider a pilot program for free hygienic sexual relief clinics, primarily serving the homeless and unhoused. This means equality. It means private sexual relief through masturbation or where appropriate consensual with a partner.
I didn't make that up. That proposal from a resident of Los Angeles, yes, it sounds insane, but it is a
random resident in Los Angeles said something crazy at a city council meeting. Have you guys ever seen Parks and Rec? If you go to a city council meeting, there will be randos there saying random shit. This guy's like, communism! Some random person in our largest city in America said some random shit at a city council meeting. Communism!
Perfect window, perfect, actually, into the radical new Democratic Socialist Party. Coming up, we're going to show you how California, Canada, by the way, who now has better trade relations with the communist Chinese than with our country. This should serve as a warning to every American. 69 days is Election Day. Also tonight, new developments. Former NBA star Ennis Freedom will join us. The developments tonight as he is challenging the WNBA to justify his ejection from a stadium last week and then later getting banned from Chicago's WNBA stadium.
He was being disruptive at a ball game. That's what people do. You get ejected. I got ejected from a ball game because I was disruptive. I was a disruption. I was disrupting. I was doing a protest. I ran out onto the pitch of Wrigley Field. Wrigley? Was it Wrigley? The one in Boston. What's the one in Boston? I think it's Wrigley. No, Wrigley, Chicago, right? Fenway. I was at Fenway. And I ran onto the pitch, onto the pitcher's mound, I mean. I was out on the pitcher's mound. And then they ejected me from the stadium because I was disruptive. I wasn't like, what do you mean I gotta go? What do you mean I'm not allowed to stay? I was being disruptive. I went to disrupt, and then they kicked me out. I was happy they didn't arrest me.
Why do I think this is going to end up in a court of law? And horrific video from Asia. This is sad tonight, showing the moment. Hey, look at this. A massive flood, mudslide swept an entire community. It is beyond chilly. But we do begin tonight up north in Canada.
It really is scary that climate change is a thing, but Sean Hannity, he's not going to say that.
But not too far north, as 90% of Canadians actually live close to the U.S. border. Many come here for
That's
health
true.
care, even though they have free health care there. Now, in
What?
Canada, they rely on this country,
The rich ones.
United States, your country, for revenue, for military protection, for oil refineries, for technology, medical, pharmaceutical advancements. And how are we repaid for our friendship and for our kindness? Now, for years before Donald Trump, was president, the only thanks we ever got were massive tariffs, and now we're getting hit with a lot of threats.
Yeah, Canada's been so mean to us. Oh, the Canadians are so mean to America. When are they going to be nice to us? Oh.
A lot of anger and a lot of disdain.
Don't they realize how much they depend on us?
Any moment, President Trump, he attempts to negotiate a free, fair, reciprocal trade deal. Well, this is what happened. Take a look.
Doug Ford also told the Associated Press that
How is he being? You didn't see the photographs? He was standing up, making a nuisance of himself at courtside, waving around a T-shirt, doing exactly what I did. I held a sign. I had a message on my shirt. I disrupted. I made a nuisance of myself in order to make a political point, and I was removed. I don't call foul. I got removed. Of course I got removed. If you go to a ball game and you go up to the field wearing a disruptive T-shirt, screaming and yelling your political points, they remove you. That's what happens. Are you okay with PETA? And maybe we should just let PETA disruptors run around on the field. And we just let them do it. Let's not eject them. That's what happens when you disrupt. You get removed. Oftentimes violently. They're lucky that he didn't do that, that they didn't violently remove him. Usually if you were, he was famous, but if a normal person goes out there and disrupts a ball game, people want to murder that person.
if this fight gets worse, the way he put it is everything is on the table, including cutting off electricity from Ontario going into the United States. Do you support that move?
Yes, he was on the court. He was on the court. He was at courtside. He got onto the court. I'm not even going to go. You guys are fucking ridiculous now. You guys are hypocrites. You're hypocrites. You think Alex Preddy deserves to be executed, but you don't think that this douchebag deserves... What was this guy's name? What was the guy's name who's the athlete who just got ejected from a WNBA game? What's this stupid asshole's name? Enes Kanter Freedom. Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky on Sunday, August 23rd. Kanter Freedom was sitting outside wearing a t-shirt with the definition of a woman during a third quarter timeout. Natasha Cloud confronted him, pointing and shouting. He stood up and took a step toward the court before security intervened and escorted him out. Yeah, that's what happens. If you're on court and you're disrupting and you are taking steps toward the athletes, they take you away. That's what they do. One time when I was a kid, I was on the first baseline of an Angels game, and I put my hat out to get a foul ball, and the ball went into my hat and it bounced out. And I was pretty young and I was kind of stupid. And I with my other hand that was holding on, I reached over to grab the ball and I flipped onto the baseball diamond. I left the stands and fell in. It was an accident. I scrambled out immediately and was like, oh shit. And about 10 minutes later, the security came and said, what the fuck? And I said, look, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. And like, don't do that again or we're going to eject you because you're disrupting the game. And I was like, sorry. I didn't mean to. I wasn't excited. It was an accident. I fell. And they were like, fine. Don't do it again. You're not allowed at a ball game to disrupt the ball game. It's that easy. But you maggers will say that Renee Good exercising her freedom of speech or Alex Preddy, they deserve to get executed. But Kanter Freedom, was that his name? Kanter, whatever his name is, he shouldn't be ejected.
Well, whatever it takes. Upping the price of electricity, we have to get attention because this cannot continue.
Proactively cutting off electricity going into the United States, you would support that move as a measure to get the U.S. to the negotiating table.
Well, I think whatever our premier needs to do.
Now, with friends like that, who needs enemies? But it does get worse.
Yeah, I do make a lot of bad choices because I reject the authority of the government, and I reject everybody's authority. You like to do what you're told because you're a simp and a bootlicker. That's maybe a better choice. Maybe you will have an easier life because you like doing what you're told and following orders. I just don't have it in me. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't have it in me to do everything I'm told. I'm more of a fuck you, I won't do what you tell me type of guy, and you're the type of guy that does everything he's told. Because every time I try to do all the things that they tell me to do, stay out of trouble, get married, buy a house, invest properly, go to college, it doesn't pan out. It doesn't pan out. Read the writing on the wall. They mortgaged your future. Do everything they say, and they will still bend you over and take advantage of you. They're taking advantage of you, Mark, Mike, whatever your name is, Lewis. They're taking advantage of you, and you like it. I don't.
At the outset of these negotiations.
Like and subscribe if you don't like being told what to do.
Earlier this year, Canada's far-left prime minister, he just jetted off to Beijing, where he promoted a new strategic partnership, with the communist Chinese.
That's what you would do immediately if America is betraying your trust and no longer wanting your business. Then you would go to China and try to do some business. As unsavory as it might feel, you got to get that moolah.
The very same China that invaded Canada's sovereignty with at least one high-altitude spy balloon. But by the way, no problem. Because
spy balloons, though.
Came to the rescue. We shot it down because Canada, they don't have the capability of shooting it down.
They didn't shoot it down until way later. You mean Biden shot it down? Joe Biden shot it down. And he waited for a long time to shoot it down. They should have shot it down. Do you guys don't remember the damn Chinese spy balloon? Canada didn't shoot it down. Neither did we. Joe Biden shot it down after it left.
Needless to say, Canada has totally lost the plot. Now, maybe if they are ever threatened or attacked, does America say, well, you're not good partners, you're on your own?
Now, all of this is a
China won't attack them if they're doing business.
warning of what will happen to our country 69 days from now if radicalized Democrats get their way and win a midterm. Canada's become so woke, so far left, so anti-Trump, so radical socialist left, and they've become crazy.
Radical socialist, woke leftist, radical socialist, woke leftist, communist.
Climate alarmists, and they're wrapped up in this idiotic landing.
Climate alarmist. Oh my God, the climate alarmist. Didn't you just play a clip of a flash flood in Nepal? Wasn't that you, Sean Hannity, just like 30 seconds ago?
Acknowledgement, whatever scheme of theirs, gender theory, that they seem to view communism. And the communist Chinese is a better partner than the U.S. Meanwhile, they do depend on us for their very existence and survival. California, frankly, really no different. The left has turned what is geographically a beautiful state into a hellhole where illegal aliens, violent criminals, homeless people have the highest poverty rate, the highest homelessness rate, with antisocial behavior are being prioritized. And billions of dollars have been spent on these groups.
Does California have the highest poverty rate? Renters pay a higher rate than homeowners. Again, the same problem, huh? And that it's tied with Louisiana. Tied with Louisiana for the highest poverty rate. The reason why is because of California's prices for everyday goods, services, and energy run well above the national average. Also, steep housing costs, rent and home prices consume a massive portion of low income families. That's why I moved. Traditional federal poverty metrics ignore geographic costs, but the SPM adjusts for them, pushing high-cost states like California to the top. Makes sense. 17% of Californians live below the adjusted poverty line because of the cost of living there.
In California, zero problems have been solved, in spite of Gavin Newsom saying, in 2008 or 9, here's my plan to solve homelessness. Not looking too good, Gavin. Yet there's seemingly no limit to what the left would do with your money given unlimited power. Take a look.
If you thought Los Angeles and California couldn't get any more crazier, watch
this fucking guy.
That Los Angeles consider a pilot program for free hygienic sexual relief clinics.
This is so ridiculous. Some random guy said something at this is just propaganda. Nick Shirley and Sean Hannity, they're no better. They're just two peas in a pod at this point. Some random guy in one of the biggest cities in the world said some crazy shit at a city council meeting. He's a citizen. He's not a leader. This random dude. This is just propaganda. It makes me sick to my stomach.
Today's feel-good moment comes from an Ohio construction crew who rescued a kitten they found trapped inside their heavy equipment. Workers named the tiny cat Komatsu, or Sue for short, after finding her.
Oh, look at that. He was stuck in the equipment.
Hiding deep inside their Komatsu brand excavator. Workers say they couldn't find the tiny feline's mother, so they made her part of their crew.
Oh, they dressed up the little animal. Look at that.
With a tiny construction hat and vest sent by the equipment company. Sue was nursed back to health for 2 weeks before she was adopted by the crew's shop mechanic, who plans to bring her to work full-time when she's old enough.
And Sue's a supermodel. Her eyes, you see the close-up on blue eyes?
Very striking,
baby blue.
right?
Oh, everyone
Today's
loves
feel-good moment.
Everyone loves those blue eyes, don't they? They love those blue eyes. Everyone loves these blue eyes. Everyone loves these blue eyes. Blue-eyed devils. Everyone thinks those blue eyes are the best. How come you guys love blue eyes still? Why are blue eyes still popular? Can you explain that to me? Doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense to me. The cat is awesome. Yeah, it's a nice little feel-good story I put in the end just for you. You know, I do. You know, people mostly hate animals and enslave them and harm them and use their flesh and fluids and their bodies for entertainment. And most people they hate animals so much. So it's nice to see a little animal being taken in by human beings. You know, it's nice to see human beings actually do something nice for an animal. Isn't it nice? Don't you love it when human beings do things that are nice? Me too. Thanks, everybody, for watching. My name is Skyjack Morgan. I'm an independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate. If you're not a Sky City Rebel, please consider becoming one. Sky City Rebels get extra content, extra streams, and extra love in the and boy, I am appreciative of all of you Sky City Rebels and you moderators out there and everyone who liked the video, this live stream. Thank you so much. I especially love all of you who have shared a stream or shared a short or shared a clip. Please share anywhere you can. The algorithm loves that. YouTube loves it. I love it. It helps a lot. If you aren't able to become a member, please consider just sharing the channel as much as you can, anywhere you can. It's really rad. Oh, Sky Rules. Sky Rules. Thank you so much, Jenna X Dragon. I'm Sky Maxing over here. I'm Sky Maxing, baby. It's been fun. I love you. Thank you so much, Jenna X-Ray Dragon, Sky City Rebels. You're incredible. We are going to do a tiny bit of humanity here because, after all, there's no reason why we have to end this on... Oh, thank you so much, Classic Rabbit. I love the title. Classic Rabbit, Silver Star. Thank you for the Silver Star. I appreciate you very much. You're amazing. You're amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. 70% of Democratic Party hates you too. That's okay. Democrats hate me and Republicans hate me. That's okay. I'm okay with both of them hating me just fine. I don't like the Democrats or the Republicans, and they don't like me. That's perfectly all right. I'd be offended if the Democrats liked me, to be honest with you. Anyway, so here we are. I'm going to read a poem for you because I'd like to end a little bit of celebrating humanity a little bit. I like that a lot. This one's called August Los Angeles Lullaby by Carol Musk Dukes. Carol Musk Dukes. August Los Angeles Lullaby. The pure amnesia of her face, newborn. I looked so far into her that for a while the visual held no memory. Little by little I returned to myself, waking to nurse those first nights in that familiar room where all the objects had been altered. Imperceptibly, the gardenia blooming in the dark, in the scarred water glass, near the phone, my handwriting illegible, the patterned lampshade angled downward and away. From the long mirror where I stood and looked at the woman holding her child, her face kept dissolving into expressions resembling my own, but the child's was pure, figurative, resembling no one. We floated together in the space a lullaby makes, head to head, half sleeping. Save it, my mother would say, meaning just the opposite. She didn't want to hear my evidence against her terrible optimism for me. And though, despite her, I can redeem, in a pawn shop sense, almost any bad moment from my childhood, I see now what she must have intended for me. I felt it for her, watching her as she slept, watching her suck as she dreamed of sucking, lightheaded with thirst as my blood flowed suddenly into tissue that changed it to milk, no matter that we were alone. There's a texture that moves between me and whatever might have injured us then, like the curtain's sheer opacity. It remains drawn over what view we have of dawn here in this one-time desert, now green and replenished, its perfect climate unthreatened in memory. Though outside, as usual, the wind blew, the bough bent. Under the eaves, the hummingbird touched once the blood-colored hourglass. The feeder then was gone. Ooh, I love the hummingbird thing, how the hummingbird is feeding at the hourglass, and the hourglass figure of a woman, I guess, and the suckling baby half sleeping. Save it, my mother would say, meaning just the opposite. She didn't. I really like the weirdness of the rhyming pattern, along with the midline punctuation that makes you read it weird. It's kind of fun. It's like a heartbeat. The pure amnesia of her face, newborn. I looked so far into her that for a while the visual held no memory. Little by little, I returned to myself, waking to nurse those first nights in that familiar room where all the objects had been altered imperceptibly. The gardenia blooming in the dark, in the scarred water glass. It's really fun, man. I really like how this poem is written. Carol Muskie Dukes. What a fun kind of little experimental poem. The rhyming is fun too. Face, far, I looked so far, amnesia of her face, amnesia of her face. I looked so far into her that for a while. It's fun, man. Held no memory, Little by little I returned, myself waking to nurse, the turn and nurse. It's good. It's good. Altered. The far nurse returned, altered. Oh, man. Dark. Amnesia and gardenia. Amnesia, gardenia, the gardenia glass. God, it's fucking good. Really well done. Fucking handwriting, patterned lamp, downward and away, mirrored where. Anyway, I really enjoyed the construction of this poem very much. And I like the imagery too. There she is. She was born 1945. She's a year older than Donald Trump, Carol Muskidukes. She was born in Minnesota. She got her MA from San Francisco State, a BA from Creighton University. Yeah, she taught at USC, University of Southern California, where she founded the PhD in Creative Writing and Literature program. Wow, former Poet Laureate of California. Man, she's pretty rad. Pretty cool. Wait a second, what did I see here? She drew on her own experiences teaching in a woman's prison for the best-selling Channeling Mark Twain. In 1972, she created Free Space, a creative writing program at the Women's House of Detention on Rikers Island. Wow, 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 wow. Very cool. She writes regularly for New York Times Book Review and Los Angeles Times Book Review. She lives in Los Angeles. Cool poem, cool poet. Interesting. That was fun. Now they have a plan to shut down all power in America except the places where they choose. Well, they have a list of people who are allowed to vote now, too. I mean, if you're making a list of the people who are allowed to vote by mail, wait till they make a list of the people who are just allowed to vote. Wait till that happens. Just wait. That's happening next. Once they start taking away your rights, it's hard to claw them back. It's very difficult. I appreciate you all for being here. My name is Skyjack Morgan. I'm an independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate. This is the #1 news reaction show in YouTube history. It's called The Morning Sky Show. Thank you very, very much for being here. Sky City Rebels, moderators, and everyone in between, anyone who liked and subscribed. Thank you very much. Please share a short. Thanks for your support. Don't let the bastards grind you down. And Godspeed, Rebels. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so friggin' much.